Anti-derivative Jill.
Greetings and felicitations.
Hello, I am Anti-Derivative Jill, and this is Indefinite Lunch and Infinite Combinations number 99.
We got a Gretzky!
Where I am continuing a special journey through all of the episodes of Star Trek, the original series. We're watching in production order. So we're on the Cloudminders, which is the 74th episode if you put the cage at 0. And that means we have only 6 more episodes to go. And this one, I don't know, this one kind of looks at Spock a little strangely, but it's an interesting one.
There's so many Ponfar things going on.
Well, yeah, but it's a private matter, Scotty. Today we have Scotty R37, and
you are great. I am great.
We are. Well, you are. And also Stone Racket.
Hello.
And he has kitties. So, reference to production of these episodes will include Star Trek 365, which of course I learned about from Raquel Briggs, who reviews all of real Star Trek from 66 to 2005 on the Clobber Times channel with Clobby on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. We're on season 5. We're getting deep into it, and I got a whole bunch of episodes to catch up on because I've had my own share of adventures, which has put me a bit behind. But anyway, I'll also make references from These Are the Voyages by Mark Cushman because he has some great material in there. Any other references I make, I'll cite as I go along. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I'm getting close to 700, and so that might be a fun stream. I'm trying to work on something special for that one.
We should watch 7.
well, we'll talk about that later.
100 times.
Oh my God!
That's a lot of depression.
Even though my slides go in order, I don't mind if you want to talk about different parts of the episode. To help with that, I'll read the preview for the Cloudminders. Droxine says, I have never before met a Vulcan, sir. And Spock says, nor I, a work of art, madam.
That is out of context. That is out of context.
It is. He's just repeating what the other guy said she is.
Ooh,
but it's still deliberate flirting. A deadly botanical plague has hit the planet of Merak 2, and only one thing can stop it. Xenite, a rare mineral substance found on the planet Ardana. But when Enterprise arrives to pick up the desperately needed shipment, Kirk discovers that he's arrived at an inopportune time. The planet's troglodyte, I keep wanting to say troglodyte population, which mines Ardana's valuable xenite, while the rest of the populace lives in a life of intellectual repose in the floating city of Stratos, has begun to chafe under the burden of inequity. Or inequality? Do you mean inequality? The upper class Stratos dwellers in turn feel that troglodytes are naturally inferior and ungrateful to boot, while Kirk has sympathy for the underdog troglodytes, what he really needs is the promised shipment of xenite. And the troglodytes are unwilling to provide that without concessions from the folks above. And so, So yeah, so thank you everybody for choosing to listen today about this episode. So we're going to talk a little more about this episode, a lot more, because we really get into it. But before we
Yeah.
do that, I want to say hello to everybody who's here with us today. Jim's Landscape, hello, good morning to you. And sorry you couldn't make it today, but I'm so glad you're here with us in the chat.
Hey, Jim.
Scotty R37 says it's a Kirk Spock double date. Yeah,
True
one of
story.
them is a
Love
little
this.
more successful than the other one, but I think it's weird.
We'll
Susan
get into
Dolan
it.
is here.
Hey, Susan.
Franco Walker,
Frank.
who also says, please subscribe, share, hit the like, and select live chat. And oh my gosh, I'm skipping ahead because I also have the chat open in another page. And I do see that Andy Masterson is here. I have to say hello.
Hey, Andy.
Phasers on full, he says. Hey, who keeps playing around with the time? Says Franco. Yeah, I did. I did that because I wanted to eat some lunch. And
First order of business.
a happy jail is a happy live stream.
Yeah.
Edge of Time is here also. Greetings. I don't think I've heard Jill say she has to go pick up the... Oh, Susan Dolan asks if I homeschool. I only did that during the pandemic. So
but
they
you
do
teach
go
your
to
children all the time.
They do go to school, but they go to a good school.
So they're Jedi?
Yes.
Hey,
if there are no further questions.
There are no further questions. Your witness, counselor.
Beautiful set design in this episode, says Sub-Commander Tall. So great to see you.
That's not all that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Well,
beautiful costumes. Ooh.
Beautiful costumes. Well, they were able to spend so much time making them beautiful because there's not much of the costume.
Ooh la la. Oh, sorry.
Eugene Bird laughs at Scotty's double date reference, and Paula Veeder Gamer is here. Hello, some popcorn.
Hey.
Gavin Blackburn says, an hour early. Have the clocks gone back? Yes. I almost decided to have...
Forward.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's spring forward. It's spring forward in the spring. Time goes forward in the spring, and the time falls back in the fall. I wish it was always, let's go an hour back. And so we're always going back in time. But no, it's not. No, it's
very Huey
lost
Lewis
an hour, and I almost decided to have this live stream at 1 p.m. since I don't have to run away at 3 because it is spring break and the kids are at home anyway, so I don't have to go pick them up. But it's not like I'm going to drag out this live stream or anything, but I'm not in a rush. Stone Racket's been a member for 4 months. Thank you, Stone Racket. I, for one, do not find the feminine beauty on display in this episode to be disturbing, as Mr. Spock admits to Droxine. It is not logical.
Disturbing is not necessarily a negative connotation. Things can be disturbed without being thrown asunder.
I'm disturbed by the way that he actually means disturbing.
Why?
Because it's just not the Vulcan way, and it's just really weird.
I thought that they were supposed to be intellectually evolved, and the reason that Spock would be so free with his interaction is that he feels comfortable with a superior intellect. Not superior intellect, but an equal intellect.
The problem with that falls apart almost instantly because he has this perception of the Cloud City that it's this non-violent place, but as soon as they get there, all of that is thrown asunder almost instantly. He should realize he's not getting what he thought this place was, and he should be more suspicious of not only the city dwellers, but also its inhabitants, including Droxine. And that would be Spock.
I do want to give a shout out to Pop Culture Curator who's in the chat who says, I'm sorry I had an emergency come up. I'll be here in the chat when I have signal driving in between towns. You are missed, sir.
Yeah, Pop Culture Curator.
Definitely.
You're very much missed. I wanted you to be here so you could talk about the part where Kirk says a line, but his mouth isn't moving. I finally
Yeah.
noticed the production thing.
Yeah, that was highly disturbing.
That was I rewound it and I was like, wait a minute. Edge of Time says Paramount kept glitching and replaying the beginning, like some commercial-driven time loop torture device. I kept looking for mirror variations in the timeline that weren't discernible. Oh no, I'm sorry, Edge of Time, you couldn't watch the episode. That's disappointing. Susan Dolan says, had some guy from my insurance company come out to look at my water pipes. Hope they get it all. Oh, that's good. I really hope insurance takes care of you, Suzanne. Good luck with that.
Yes,
Miss
Susan
Queen
Dolan. I
Jess.
hope that those pipes get laid.
Keith is just lurking.
Hey, Keith.
Yeah, right. No water. Man, yeah, right. Hopefully you get that fixed very, very, very soon.
Filmed on location in Bespin. I was thinking so
before
many cloud
Bespin,
cities.
Yeah, before Bespin, there was Stratos on Star Trek.
True. But Lando Calrissian was way better at it.
Well, yeah, compared to
Places.
What's his name? Jeff Corey's character. Places. Yeah. What a strange name. Places.
Places. He's somewhere.
No. Yeah, he's somewhere. Leonard Nimoy's acting teacher, believe it or not, Jeff Corey.
Oh, he was.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. They work together. That's neat.
Yes.
So Jim's Landscape LLC says, I need a free membership. Mine expires on March 15th.
The Ides of March. Oh, dear.
So lucky for you, Jim, the next membership stream is on March 14th. So you'll be on Pi Day. So you'll be able to go to that stream. And so maybe between that time and the next one, you'll get a free membership.
And March 14th is my younger sister's birthday.
It's my actual sister's birthday.
Oh.
Your actual sister's birthday.
Yeah, my actual younger sister, as opposed to my
sister?
actual older sister. Yes.
Well,
I have one older sister and one younger sister.
I've only got a younger sister, but
two older brothers and one younger brother,
and a partridge in
I'm the
a
oldest
pear
of
tree.
all the children. Yamas Queen Jess, hello.
Hey.
So with that, the Cloudminders first aired on February 28th, 1969, and I shall bring up the slides for this episode so we can have a little captain's log here.
Yes, this episode I need to celebrate because it proves once and for all that NBC has now conquered its fear of the female naval. And this episode has two wonderful examples of triple FN, which I call full frontal female naval.
I have to be right back. I'm helping my daughter. As I said, she's here from daycare, so I'll be right back.
I am a toxic male, and I make no apologies.
Well, and nor should you. Yamas Queen Jess says, I'm the oldest of my actual siblings, as am I.
Yeah, I am right in the middle, pretty much.
But it is interesting in terms of the standards of television that they finally got over that. I was always baffled by the idea of thinking that a woman's navel was lurid.
Yeah, I blame NBC because
I blame Disney.
They denied me the pleasure of seeing Barbara Eden's navel on I Dream of Jeannie.
Which is a nice navel. That's from what I've heard.
Yeah, it's like I have a certain fixation on the female midriff because of NBC.
And you can hear all about it on our next podcast called Navel Gazing. Scotty R37 and Stone Racket. Susan Eckstein says hello to Pop and to Franco and to myself. It's good to see you, Suzanne.
Suzanne.
Eugene Bird says, can this episode make more attentive than Sherry Lewis episode? Attentive.
Yes, for me, yes, indeed. There's two fine examples that keep my attention.
Dude, it is interesting. I don't remember what I gave Lights of Zetar, but this episode is definitely better than Lights of Zetar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gave this episode a B.
Is there a poll?
Yes, there is a poll.
I didn't get to it.
Yeah. And then Lights of Zetar, I believe I gave a C.
I think I did too.
A C or a D. I think it was a C.
It's so interesting just to think about Ardana in terms of its admission into the Federation, because by the time we get to the next generation, having a disparate population who fight with one another, or at least are unequal, that wouldn't fly as being a Federation planet. And so do you think that this is a situation where it was just Federation expansionism?
Well, it could very well be, because they definitely were enamored with Stratos as opposed to what the actual situation was with what I call the Metropolis situation.
Well, and that is also something I am remiss. I've never seen Metropolis, but I did hear during my research that this is very much in comparison with Metropolis.
Yes, very much so. You have
Can
the workers that work underground, providing the power to the city, and then you have the people that live within the city itself, and the high skyscrapers enjoying a life of ease while the workers are toiling in the underground.
That's kind of my problem with this episode, is that they don't really display that toil as well as Metropolis or Brave New World, which this episode also reminds me of, or the rebellion that emanates because of that.
Yeah, it's it has its shortcomings. That's why I gave it a B. It's one of my
start.
It's one of my top 10 favorites from the third year, but it's not an A.
Oh
level,
yeah, definitely.
I
would say that too. This one's definitely a lot better than a lot of other season 3 episodes.
It's got such, but the thing is, it's like some of the people in the chat have mentioned, it's beautiful production design.
Which for sure, and this one is one of the season 3 episodes that went over budget, but because Freddie kept the budget low for so many episodes, they had the surplus.
Yeah, they did. They did indeed. And
but at what cost? Like, we do get some special effects and set design, but we don't. I'm always excited when I have an all hands on deck when I get to see the Classic 7, and this one doesn't. I do actually. I was sitting there and watching it, and I was enjoying it.
Look, Scotty, Uhura, she's doing her job.
I love it when she does her job, and she.
I know. Well. I know. I was just being a little silly.
She does her job well.
She does it very well.
I was waiting for so long for McCoy to show up, and I was like, there isn't an episode of Star Trek where McCoy doesn't show up, is there?
Because he does. He
does eventually.
Oh yeah, it's important though what he has to contribute. So
it just seems that they sacrificed cast for
it's required
for special effects.
Well, and then you had Jeff Corey as a guest star.
That's true.
He probably demanded some big bucks. Now with Diana Ewing as Droxine, she was just getting her start. So this was like maybe her second or third acting job. So early in her career. And then Charlene Polite as not Vanna, Vana in this episode. Vana. This was her very first acting job.
And I'm Team Vana.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I find Droxine to be too thin. She looks like the kind of lady who has to run around in the shower to get wet. And I find her costume ostentatious, because I do not believe that her breasts are that large. I think that she is trying to, work of art, her fashion, to highlight certain things, and perhaps that is why she takes Spock under her thrall.
Well, that could be the case, but we don't know for sure. We do know for sure that's the case in Voyager because they give Jerry Ryan a breastplate, like an armor, because part
Cookies?
of her chest is
The bigger boobs?
yeah.
Oh,
So whether
how low we have
Droxine is
sunk.
enhanced,
We
I
are
do not
talking about the
know.
beauty of women.
It doesn't matter if she's enhanced or not. She's quite
That's
lovely.
true.
I think-
it doesn't. It's a fashion statement.
I don't like her at all because she's the kind of lady who, if I took out to dinner, she would only order a salad, and I find that pretentious.
Yeah, she's a little bit. She doesn't realize she's entitled, though. She's a little bit naive to her situation.
Now remember,
Like privilege.
Scotty. What did she say at the end?
I wish that I could call out to Spock so that his giant ears could hear me.
No,
That was in the middle
He
of the
does
episode.
say that, though.
she talks about that she will go to the
go to the
surface of the planet
mines.
and go to the mines, and
Yes.
so
Yeah,
she's
she says
there's
that, but
hope.
is she really going to do
Oh,
that?
I think so.
I didn't really believe her when she
I
said that,
did. To be
I
fair.
did. She
Yeah.
wouldn't lie to Spock, Jill.
Right.
She wouldn't lie to
but- Okay.
Well, and that's the
yeah,
thing.
it's true. She does want to impress him.
It is based on
Yes.
intellectual curiosity on Droxine's part. And so while I'm not a big fan of Droxine, I'm more of a fan of Vana. I think that Droxine
Well, you're not a fan of
is
Droxine because they
truthful.
don't really develop her character that much to make you really believe like that her perception is changing.
Well, to
And
be
I
fair,
think
that,
that's part of the problem.
like Droxine is a
least not
audience
me. You guys
insert
are-
for everybody who sent. Like, this is attempting to capitalize on the fan base who loves Spock, and as well written, as well referenced.
Whoops.
It was a lot of women who were big fans of Leonard Nimoy's portrayal of Spock, and so they decided to put a Cheesecake Spock episode right in here. And
yeah, but that's the problem, though. People who are fans of Spock know this isn't really Spock that much.
No, but it
it
is.
is kind of. It's a little
canon.
bit.
It's on screen.
It's canon, but it's not quite right.
It's,
I mean, it's kind of out of character.
Yeah, it's
But before we get even
Freiberger stuff, because he's
yeah.
the one that shoehorned all that.
This is the Freddie Freiberger
Yeah.
show. But before we
Yeah.
get too much more into the episode, because we're all over the place,
Yes.
it has a storyboard credit by David Gerald and Oliver Crawford, because they had to hire Oliver Crawford because David Gerald looked too young, according to the producers of the show, and they were just like, you can't do this by yourself. And then they were like, you guys, okay, thanks for the story. We're going to have this now rewritten again by Margaret Arman, because Margaret Arman's going to be our new story consultant for season 4. When we get season 4, Margaret Arman is going to...
Yeah.
Well, of course, that doesn't
Famous last words.
And of course, David Gerald wrote Trouble with Tribbles. But, and he, of course, wanted to do a sequel, which he doesn't get until the animated series. He also wanted to do Bem again, which doesn't come up again until the animated series.
Yeah.
Although this is very reminiscent of Bem. I was thinking about it while I was watching it because, Kirk and Spock, everyone gets the jump on everyone at every turn. Kirk is even with Vana being very altruistic and very trusting. And it's like, I trust you. I want you to do the things. And then every time Vana is like, silly human man.
Yeah,
You
she
believed
doesn't.
me?
You know what though? Unlike Bem, she doesn't exactly apologize at the end like he does.
Well, because Bem's I hate Bem.
He's a
How
bigger jerk.
much? I was gonna swear like 3 times there, and I had to reel myself in.
Yeah.
Okay, so David Gerald's original story seemed like it was going to delve into the suffering of the miners way more than this episode actually did, like the actual problem, and actually deal with maybe more of the rebellion. I'm not sure exactly what he wrote. I haven't read it, but it was going to care a little bit more about that aspect.
Well,
And it was going to be about dilithium crystals instead of the
Yeah,
the
instead of the Xenite.
I'm
Xenite.
And
glad.
of course, they need it because in 12 hours, a whole planet will be destroyed because of a
Right.
plague. And so 12 hours, we only have 12 hours.
Well,
Like,
it's not just any plague, it's
what?
a botanical plague, and when all
Right.
the plants die, the humans will die also. And that's true.
Yes,
Circle of life kind of thing.
and 5 big canisters of Xenite, refined Xenite, will solve it in less than 3 hours.
Yes, that's what
2
happened in
hours
this
and
episode, is
59
that it
minutes.
became
Yeah, that's less than 3 hours.
Yeah.
it became a ticking clock episode,
Yeah.
even though we wanted to spend more time with the dilemma of
Yeah. That's
the miners and the
that's
city village.
Freiburger. I'm sure that's Freiburger.
It
We gotta
feels like yeah.
we got to have that. It's like, well, how about just examining what's going on this planet? You know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's what David Gerald wanted. He wanted to get the two
the thing
two
is-
talking. He wanted Kirk to
Yeah.
get them to talk more.
Right, but
And Freddie was like, "There's too much talking," and then
But
like,
David-
that's what I wanted.
well, I did not want the David Gerald version where Kirk makes there's 3 sides in his original story. He wants to get them all together talking at the point of a phaser. That's all
At the
Kirk.
point of a phaser, I missed that part.
That's all Kirk
That's not
does.
good.
He goes, I'm not making that up. It's at the point of a phaser. He gets them all in the same room.
Oh,
And he goes,
no.
talk now, because I am the great Captain Kirk, and I have a phaser pointed at you.
Okay, you know what? This episode did improve with that.
Yeah, I
making
think
the
so.
cave-in. The cave-in was far less violent.
Yeah.
And still dramatic. I think that was a better move.
Yeah,
You're
and
right.
his really poorly chosen as far as his words, how he sums up this episode. It's not quite that simple, because there is going to be change. At least it's implied with what Droxine says. But I would have made that a little bit more explicit. I would have made it where there's no longer going to be this division. There's going to be
cooperation.
There's going to be cooperation, and the so-called elite will have their turn in the mines. And they just they rotate out. Plus, there's only one floating city. The population, the population must be very, very small. But I don't know.
They can build more, but that'll be part of the cooperation. That would
there
be
you
lovely.
go. Yeah,
I love that. I love that amendment.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. I was having a little trouble here.
But that's a weird thing in terms of, and again, I enjoy watching these. I watched of course I do, but I watched these with the enhanced special effects, and Spock refers to Stratos as being a metropolis, and when I look at it, it looks more like a castle. It doesn't look like a city. It just looks like a building, and
it's several buildings.
Well, I give credit to the updated special effects for not making it larger. Although I do agree with your point that it would be interesting to see a larger version of Stratos. In fact, Manny Cotto, who was the showrunner, dear and departed, of Enterprise, if Enterprise had gone to another season, he was like, I wish we could have gone back to Ardana and see an earlier version of this struggle.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, interesting.
That is, but the captain's log already bothers me when it says, well, okay, so it sets up the botanical plague that's devastating the planet, but it says in the quadrant of the galaxy where the Enterprise is operating at present. The quadrant is pretty big. It's going to be either the A or B. So it's more beneficial to say sector. So to say quadrant is like saying, well, we're on Earth. And so it just
they use that interchangeably quite a bit,
do?
don't they? Don't they
Oh,
throughout
I didn't
the
realize
series?
that.
Where We're the
I don't know
only.
why I'm just realizing
It's like
that. Do they
I
really?
think in Arena he says to Spock, "We're the only policemen in this quadrant,"
Mhm.
or
Oh,
something like
geez.
that. And I'm kind of like,
That
well, how
definitely
about
doesn't make sense.
how about sector, please? Quadrant is way too big.
But even sectors have quadrants if you want to divide it into 4. I've never
Oh
had a
my.
problem with this.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jill and I are
Jeez.
thinking quadrant as in
The galactic quadrants.
the galactic quadrant.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
That's how
we
I
could
was
have
thinking it.
subdivisions, but they don't explain it very well. But
No, I
Oh,
understand.
we'll go with the Scotty. We'll
Okay.
go with the
Okay.
Scotty definition then.
It's completely forgiven now.
Okay.
Kirk says at Federation orders, we're going to the planet where the only source is Xenite. The only source is Xenite. It's the one substance that'll halt the plague. And so they're at an area with purple rocks and an orange sky. Right away, Spock is taken with what he knows about the city and the interest in art and intellectual pursuits. And he believes it's a non-violent society. So at the beginning, Spock believes the lie that the planet has told. I'm just guessing, to trick the Federation into accepting them. Somehow the Federation is entirely unaware of the miners suffering on the surface. Otherwise, Spock would know this, as he will come to find out in a few scenes, and then subsequently forget while he has some kind of weird thought exchange by himself in his room. And then
I'm fine with it. We'll get to it.
But I do have something about the Cloud City from the 365 book. But before I read that, I want to check out the chat. Suzanne Eckstein is here. Hello, Suzanne. Yeah, Miss Queen Jess gives this a C++ or B minus. I love that grade, and mine is somewhere around there.
Mine too.
This episode got a B+ from Franco Walker.
Well, Franco, you're wrong.
Todzilla's here. I love seeing Todzilla. Love me some Android Road. Chill. And Susan Dolan says, if you notice, the woman's exotic dresses can have the top part of the breast exposed, but not the bottom part of the breast. And you'll never see a belly button. Censors rules. And this episode allows the belly button. That's the crazy part.
Well, and as I mentioned before, Susan, if you'd like to join us on our new podcast, Naval Gazers, you can.
They're going to find all the belly buttons in the 60s.
You can join us on the 11th.
Sub-Commander Tall says, I think Gerald mostly didn't like the idea of Xenite gas being the MacGuffin and wanted the ending to be harder and messier in terms of a resolution. But not sure I agree. Yeah, you're right. I guess this one's Gerald's was a little more pessimistic, and the way this episode is written is a little more optimistic. So I do like that part, that this problem is it's the pathway to solving it is obvious, and they get it started.
It is an obvious sort of allegory or adaptation or commentary on classism, but Gerald's original story wanted to have it to be about civil rights, and then he wanted to have half of the troglodytes to be sort of Martin Luther King troglodytes, and then the other half of the troglodytes to be sort of like Malcolm X. And then with the Stratos City dwellers to be, I don't know, the established system. And so that's when Kirk would have sat there and said, talk it out or I'll stun you.
Right.
Mm.
And just like the extreme naivete of Harlan Ellison thinking he could get on a soapbox with early 60s television and whatnot, David Gerald also thought the same thing. It's like, no, not on 60s network television. You're not going to be able to do that. So I find it quite silly that he thought he could get away with a story like that without any resistance from the network.
Well, yeah, that is an important thing to remember, that what Star Trek was up against in trying to relay these kinds of stories.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, the Cloudminder does deserve some respect. Edge of Time says, today's special deep-fried Frankel burgers with your food order of troglodyte cheese curds. And your choice of tribble sauce, brown, white, or orange.
Tribble sauce. What?
Edge of time, I unsubscribe from your restaurant and will not read your menu.
Yeah, I agree. And that I'm glad Jill made
Next
that
thing you're gonna
alarmed tribble sound, because it's like, no, we don't eat tribbles.
I
next
didn't.
thing you're
I
gonna
never
tell me is I'm
will.
gonna have Gorn soup.
It's like,
Well,
no.
the tribble is kind of like it does a pattern of growling and purring, so I never know
Yeah.
which way it's gonna go. So that
Much
was
like me.
Yeah, Jill, you might have Klingons in your house. Be careful.
I do actually. I'm married to one. Gavin Blackburn says Z-Knight is this episode's only ship in the sector. I know that because he really hates this tribble. He'll throw it across the room if he accidentally startles it. Anyway.
Oh, that's too bad. I feel sad now.
Oh no, the tribble's okay. It bounces. Putin's cat says, did it depend on the shape of the belly button?
No, it was just the female belly button in general. It was something from the 50s that NBC really held on to as far as their broadcast standards, and it was just ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
Yeah. Did they show Uhura's navel in Mirror Mirror?
Yeah, they did.
And so yes, they did.
And they also showed Barbara Luna's navel, the captain's woman. So they did get away, but that's a famous story how they got away with that.
It was Deborah Pageant. Putin's cat asked if that role applied to Deborah Pageant. I don't know.
Deborah Pageant. Oh dear, that ring.
Oh, this actually has become the naval
that
podcast.
That name rings a bell, but
Do you have a close up of Uhura's costume from Mirror Mirror? No, but I can look one up for you.
Yeah, it was basically trick the NBC censor, distract the NBC censor, because Uhura would have that sash up covering her navel when the censor was on set.
Oh, really?
And then they would distract her, or take her out to lunch, and they would continue filming. Yeah, it was, and of course,
clever.
And NBC is like, well, this is the episode, here it is, and it's like, I guess we got to air it. Navels and all. It's a mirror universe. Okay, I guess we can get away with that. It's just pure silliness. Like I said, if this aired on ABC, you would have seen navels every season.
So glad they got away with it for Mirror Mirror and this episode. Yeah. So the 365 book about the Sky City says the design of Stratos, Ardana's beautiful city in the clouds, was based on one of Matt Jeffrey's graceful renderings. The resulting model was built from lightweight extruded polystyrene foam, carved with hacksaw and X-Acto blades, and stuck together with common white glue. Clumps of cotton were wrapped around the bottom of the city to suggest clouds. And then the entire structure was hung from the ceiling against a screen conveying Ardana's brightly hued sky. The physical effect was later polished with the addition of matte painting of clouds, which replaced the rather unrealistic cotton wadding. Assuming you had a transport card allowing you to travel up to the city, the view you would see from the balcony was in reality a high-altitude photo of a dry river basin in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I think that's a beautiful shot when we get to it. We'll get to see it. U.S. astronaut Ed White shot the image in 1965 while engaged in EVA, extravehicular activity.
Yeah, it was Gemini 4 and 65. It's the Hadamut Plateau Dry River Basin in Yemen.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful, but it is Earth, but it's given a red hue, so it feels like Mars if Mars had life on it.
Yeah, my Earth science teacher was a big Star Trek fan, and because of that aerial shot, he just loved this episode because of that shot. He just couldn't get enough of it.
I think I love that shot.
But
I
me being a toxic male, I like the shots of Triple FN.
the river basins are the cleavage I like. The maneuver, the first ever American spacewalk, took place during the Gemini 4 space mission. Oh, cool! I
Yep.
didn't know that.
Yep, Ed White.
Very awesome.
Unfortunately, he's one of the 3 astronauts that died in the fire on Apollo 1.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that's terrible. Yeah, there's so many tragedies.
Roger Chaffee and Gus Grissom are the 3, and Ed White are the 3 that perished in that fire.
Gosh, that's terrible. I didn't. Well, they didn't lose the whole crew, but that's really awful. That's almost half.
No, they lost all 3.
All 3 of them.
Apollo
That's
1,
terrible.
yeah, that fire.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought
because they still had a pure oxygen environment inside the capsule, and it was just a little short, and then it was just everything.
Yeah, well, when you don't do your measurements properly, I guess that's what happens. That's terrible.
And they completely redesigned the Apollo capsule because of that. It took that tragedy. It took that tragedy.
At least they learned something from it.
Yeah, but still, oh dear.
Yeah, what a terrible way to learn something.
Yes.
The 365 book continues. This troubled planet is a place of the most violent contrasts. Those who receive the rewards are totally separated from those who shoulder the burdens. It is not a wise leadership. And yeah, he says that, and yet he's flirting with this girl. A remastered version of The Floating City by the artists at CBS Digital, as interpreted by Star Trek authors Michael and Denise Sakuda. Yeah, they worked on the remaster. I think they did a good job. The magnificent castle in the sky was homeworthy of Ardana's greatest artists, scientists, and scholars. Here among the clouds, they were free to pursue their studies, unfettered by mundane worldly concerns, but the jewel of Ardanan society concealed a dark secret. Few knew that those who had toiled so long to build the glittering Acropolis were unfairly denied its benefits. Even fewer knew of the shocking barbarism that brutalized the lives of those workers. It was an injustice that would soon rock Ardanian society to its roots, and in the process, a vital mission of mercy would be placed in jeopardy, endangering the life of every living thing on the planet Merrick 2. And I want to go ahead and say hello to James Caserta in the chat.
Hey, James.
The Subcommander Tall says the Enterprise is a naval vessel.
So this is navel gazing.
This is different kind of naval.
All right.
NAVEL. That's the kind of naval, female naval, you know.
In the Navy, you can sail the 7 seas.
Franco Walker says if she only orders a salad, that's a date I can afford it.
There you go.
Well, I don't know. I mean, salad's good sometimes if you get some shrimp and some stuff in it besides just the vegetable stuff.
I think Droxine would not object to surf and turf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. It's got a little steak in there. Damn, that's good.
Cows, Captain? I can't eat a cow. Droxine looks like a vegan, is what I'm saying.
Well, she's just, she's just
too skinny. She's
naturally thin.
Skinny.
She's just naturally thin.
I just find her a little too slight for my personal tastes. I don't mean to offend anyone who enjoys her.
Spock says she's a work of art, and so do I.
All right.
This is most logical.
That's your business. That's your business.
Yeah, there's you could show as much cleavage as you wanted, but the underside of a woman's breast, oh, no way would the network broadcast standards allow that, because they thought moss grew there.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Yeah, Miss Queen Jess, fan of Spock, not a fan of him flirting with female characters. And Well, yeah, when they're not in some kind of scientific pursuit or they're not trying to study something or learn something, and he's just doing this for obviously some kind of pleasure and kind of he keeps see I would accept the flirting if it was a little bit more honest on the level of his intellect, but he keeps mentioning her beauty and he would be
Yes.
more attracted to her mind if it were really Spock.
Yeah. It's just
Well,
it's Freiberger stuff. So
I think my interpretation of this interaction between Spock and Droxine, I think, was made to cater to the female fans of Spock, and unfortunately, it backfired because audience participation is part of the fun, and I think that a lot of women who do have affection for Spock in a Ponfar kind of way were like, "What does he see in that bitch?" So I see it more as jealousy as opposed to being an actual character flaw, because he does admire the Ardanians as being a completely logical society that's elevated by thought and art. I think he's taken by the culture, and when introduced, he sees a shot and he takes it.
hey Jill, where have we seen this before?
This this does look familiar. There was a
That
door.
Which Survives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Scotty, that only makes sense for the first couple of seconds of the episode where Spock still thinks that this society is exactly as you described it. But so quickly he sees that that is not true. And I
But
don't think he would carry on with this
But
after learning
you
that
say his reverie that he has in the middle of the episode is sort of out of place and you don't
it
understand.
is. It is
I
because
don't think so.
he knows that this society isn't as good as it's trying to pretend that it is. And yet and then he says, "Oh well, she must be innocent of this, and she must not know what's going on." And that's kind of Spock is not naive, and so I don't like that dialogue makes him seem as
I
such.
I think that Spock believes in the capacity for empathy from Droxine. What if Droxine could see the hardship that Vana was
But she very
enduring?
clearly doesn't.
No, she doesn't until
She
the
does.
end of the episode, where she says, "I will absolutely, for intellectual curiosity, I will go and I will endure. I will go and discover." And Spock reinforces it for her, and in a logical way. And she says, "Actually, you make a good point."
The on-
I
the only line that supports what you're saying is at the end where she says, "What if what we're doing is wrong? Did you ever stop and think that we are not doing the right thing?" And she tells this to her dad. And so that's the only time that she actually that there's actually some potential from her thought process that that she should be something different than her upbringing.
Mhm.
Yeah, but from her interaction with Spock, she makes that leap. I would think.
Different interpretations, but it's a glory to be able to discuss it with
Oh,
you.
I can't see let me hide this. So the troglodytes have changed their mind about the delivery. yeah, I'd say they have.
Yeah, they're mean, and they make Kirk talk without his lips moving.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
and they have this little fight, which I was really upset at. Speaking of not doing Spock right, he doesn't use his Vulcan neck pinch. Not one
Yeah,
time.
I kept saying, "Come on, use the Vulcan net pinch."
I had a thought about that as well, because I thought that it was somewhat out of character. However, they were getting swarmed. How many guys were there? And a girl. How many people were
There was plenty of time. This fight lasts forever. There was plenty of time to get one or two at
4
least.
guys. All right.
Yeah,
I just thought he was
four against two. That's nothing for Kirk and Spock.
that's right. I agree with
he
Jill.
well, that's cool. He should have used it once, but he should have got overpowered. I thought that they were fierce fighters, and the
I would have
reason
been
that Spock
satisfied if
was
he
all
used it at least.
punchy, he was trying to throw them off of him.
I would have been satisfied with at least one. I was just waiting for the one. I was like, okay, I get it. It's an action adventure show. They wanna fight and stuff, whatever. But at least give me one. They didn't.
No, I was waiting for it as well, but I do defend his sort of, I don't know, immediacy of the situation.
And
Gorilla.
Vanna sure put up a good fight against Kirk, didn't she?
She did.
That's the drugs.
So Gorilla's random thoughts. He's really upset with YouTube. Effing YouTube didn't give me a notification. You were buried 30 years down instead of at the top. So I might have to watch later. Or listen in chipmunk mode. Say. James Caserta says he was using her.
I don't think that this is a Romulan commander situation.
Oh.
Nerissa?
How? What did she offer?
Yeah.
Interesting.
What did she offer? Her navel.
Yeah.
There is a famous blooper of Leonard Nimoy sitting next to Diana Ewing, giving us dialogue as he slowly puts his little pinky finger into her navel.
Oh.
So even Leonard
Really?
Nimoy could not resist Diana Ewing's navel.
Okay. Well, that makes more sense for Leonard Nimoy, actually.
Yeah,
Penny,
Leonard Nimoy, but not for Spock.
Leonard Nimoy
Hey,
can
Penny.
do that all day.
Hi, Penny.
Yeah, Penny says, I'm waiting for Cabrini to start. Catch y'all on the replay. Okay. Well, I'm so glad that you'll come back and listen. Thank
I
you
love
for
the
stopping by,
Fabrini.
Penny. I don't. I'm not pretending to know. Maybe I'll look into that later.
What is Cabrini?
That's the people who live on Yonata, right? The asteroid that was actually an interstellar ship.
Oh. Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Okay.
Wait, are you talking about the episode, McCoy's love episode?
For the world is hollow and I have touched the sky, which I have not watched.
Oh my God, dude! You gotta check it out.
Hollow.
It is top 5 of all-time Trek for me.
I mean, I saw it back in the day, but I haven't watched it recently.
You gotta.
Natira
is so just glorious.
Yeah, whatever. No, she's lovely. That's Catherine Woodville you're referring to.
Yeah, that's fine. You can have your Droxine, and I'll go with my Natira.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, I like
galaxy
Catherine.
big enough for the both.
I like Catherine Woodville, and who was she married to?
The pleasure is in the learning of each other.
Patrick McNee, otherwise known as John Steed from the Avengers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. And good call, sir.
Steed. Oh man. Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like the Avengers.
Yep, so did I. It was a great series.
Hashtag Team Cap.
Had a huge crush on Diana Rigg back in the day.
Oh yeah, I love her too. She's a great actress. I like her. And Plassus is the high advisor of the council. So Jeff Corey was cast as Plassus. This is from These Are the Voyages by Mark Cushman. Leader of the Sky City. He was 54. He'd been working since 1939. I might cut some lines. DeForest Kelley worked with Corey in 48 for the crime thriller Cannon City from 51 to 63. He was blacklisted for refusing to name supposed communists in the entertainment industry for the House United American Activities Committee. And to make a living, he led the Actors Workshop where he coached Leonard Nimoy, like you were saying. He was his teacher.
Yep.
When Corey was finally allowed to return to acting, his first jobs was with Nimoy in The Balcony. Freiberger had cast Corey prior to Star Trek in a demanding role with The Night of 1,000 Eyes on The Wild Wild West, which also featured Celeste Yarnell, Yeoman Martha Landon from The Apple. Oh, cool. And then Corey also journeyed into the Outer Limits, and there's a little picture here of that.
That's from Obit, a very famous first season episode of Outer Limits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's that guy.
Like, he does have such gravitas as an actor. I recently just saw,
and then let me click.
I just recently saw Butch Cassidy in The Sundance Kid, and he plays sort of a pivotal role in the third act of that film, and he was very prolific in westerns.
Yep.
in the 60s and 70s. And so I was curious as to where I had seen him before, but I'm so glad that he shows up here. This is great. He actually played a role in an Elliot Gould movie with what's her name? You know, the lady who played Murphy Brown.
Candice Bergen.
That's her. So it was Elliot Gould and Murphy Brown, and Harrison Ford is in that film with Mr. Corey. I think it's called The Straight Story, but not the David Lynch one.
Huh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Just a little, you know, when you get down rabbit holes about people, like, I just really admire this guy. I think that he holds it together.
And he was also, along with Melissa Gilbert, was in an episode of Babylon 5.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Nice.
And he was not very nice, and neither was Melissa Gilbert.
Well, Melissa Gilbert is renowned for being a horrible person.
My younger sister really loves Little House on the Prairie, and I showed her that episode of Babylon 5. I said, "This is Melissa Gilbert in a not so nice role."
Well, that's a good way to put it. But to return to the episode, the
Yes.
miners are not really giving up their Zenite, so Kirk and Spock head up to the city.
Yeah, they've hidden it, Jill. They've hidden it.
I like this statue. It's fun. It looks like wings.
Did you want to explain about the artwork here?
No, you please explain.
This metal artwork is actually part of furniture without the glass tabletops. They borrowed it from some guy in the valley, so they had to make sure it wasn't damaged, and they returned all of it. But it's basically metal furniture. So basically tables with glass tabletops, and the metal work, of course, is the support structure. But I thought that was really interesting.
I think
that makes sense. That is cool. I didn't realize that was under a table. So
that's in the Cushman book. I thought that was really interesting.
I saw on Twitter recently a Enterprise bridge 3D printed underneath the clear table, and I was like, I need that. That looks great.
Did you see the tweet from Doomcock that he got a Polar Lights Deluxe Enterprise with all the lights from Sean Carter? I was like, holy smokes, that's beautiful.
It's gorgeous, and he puts this little console as a stand, and it looks beautiful. It's amazing work.
I was bowled over. Yeah.
Sean Carter is amazing.
Sean Carter is amazing. He's working on a Jupiter 2 for Pops.
Right. Well, I remember seeing the little robot figure. Yeah. So one of these days.
Don't forget to subscribe to Sci-Fi Model Guy.
I am.
Amazing work.
Yeah.
Well, I know you are. I'm just saying for everyone.
For everyone, yes. Yes, indeed. Broadcast that, Scotty.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Subscribe to Sci-Fi Model Guy. Also, he has a new movie review channel.
Cool.
Which
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's good.
If you're not subscribed, to check that one out too.
Hang on I'm going to go find the link. Do you have the link?
Yeah, I have both links.
Okay.
I'll put them in the chat now.
Nice.
Cool.
Since this is it's definitely worth mentioning.
Yeah, when I saw that yesterday with the Doomcock's Polar Lights Deluxe Enterprise that Sean Carter sent him, I shared that immediately with my former coworker who was also into building Starship models with all the deluxe lighting and whatnot.
Yeah, he really goes all out.
Yeah, that's my coworker does too. He's just amazing work.
And well, in their dialogue, how they talk, they quickly dispel all the accolades that Spock just gave the world.
Yeah.
And so, but I think they did a wonderful job on the planet's surface shots. Oh, is that one coming up? I want to see that. That was from help by NASA, which we already explained earlier. There it is.
There it is.
I think it's gorgeous. If only
And then
since it's red, it makes me think it's Mars.
Yeah, the remastered folks added some mountains there
Mhm.
in the remastered shot of this particular.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's gorgeous, and it's a shame that troglodyte jumps over the balcony. It's like,
Oh no, yeah, no.
it's
Well,
like, oh dear.
I did a thing for Scotty R37 because he asked
You
regarding
did
that.
it?
Yeah, well, you asked for it, so I did it.
Can you do it? Can
Oh,
you do
now?
the thing? Yeah, why not? This is perfect.
You asked for it, Scotty.
Yeah, Scotty R37 asked for it, and this is why. Like, I didn't have time to make clips of the whole episode like I usually do, but he specifically asked for this.
Yay! I
Double
adore
tragedy.
you.
I'm crying here. Double tragedy. I can't take it. A troglodyte and the coyote both. Oh. It's funny.
So-
Chuck Jones was attacked for all the violence in his Roadrunner cartoons, and he's like, it's not about death. It's about resurrection, because the coyote comes right back.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
At least I guess the
not
French
done yet.
critics got it, but the American critics not so much. Oh, keep it on that, please.
Well,
I
better
figured
lighting.
into
Can we
that.
get a little better lighting? We got
Oh, I like
labels.
the shading. Look at her abs. Oh,
I know.
good
she
golly,
works
Miss
out.
Molly.
There we are.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's
So
just
I think those earrings might be a tad heavy for her.
well, Lord knows that the bosom isn't.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm telling you, this is disproportional. This is an unreasonable body expectation.
I
to
don't
be
think
I'm not
so.
so- I'm not so sure you're correct.
Jill, show the picture from the Cushman book of Diana
Yeah.
Ewing.
I
She
will.
doesn't-
I will show
Oh,
you.
you will? Okay.
Yeah.
I just
He
think
knows
it's
what
an
I have.
unreasonable-
I don't know
Alright.
how he knows what I have.
Like, I just don't think it's a reasonable
Oh,
expectation
yeah.
for
Oh,
a
yes,
woman
you do.
so thin
Opposite.
to be
Nope.
so
Yeah,
buffy.
you're so wrong.
Oh, she
There she
has
is.
boobs.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
There she is. And
But
this
her face-
this is after Star Trek. This is just like a year or two after Star Trek.
Oh. So the hair and makeup really worked.
So she
I just don't find her attractive.
she's in a this is a Western.
well.
Knives for the lady or knives for the women or something like that. Right, Jill? Something.
Oh, I couldn't hear what either of you said for whatever reason. My internet went out for like a half second.
Yes. I was saying that I
Wait a
don't like
minute.
Druxine. I don't find her-
Again. Yeah, we get it, Scotty.
Well,
I
that's
don't
fine.
like her.
Let's
You
get
like-
Derek.
Vana. Let's get
you like
Vana.
Vana. You want a little more on your women. Okay,
This
I get
is
it.
no, but this is like a Betty Veronica situation. I'm not saying I'm right, and I apologize for attempting to drive this home. And because I'm not correct, it's a matter of personal taste. And
Oh yeah,
apologize.
I just like to tease you. Just I just
Yeah.
like to josh you. It's okay. You
Oh.
like Vana and I like Droxine, but I also like Vana. She's pretty cool.
Well, hands off Vana, Stone Wreckage.
Okay, she's yours. All right. I will take Droxine.
All right.
Well, speaking of Droxine, she's played by Diana Ewing. Is that how
Ewing.
you say it?
Ewing.
Ewing.
Yes.
She had begun working in the 365 book shed. She worked on television, the Mod Squad. Oh, you said this stuff. Mission Impossible.
Mhm.
After this, she worked on the Big Valley, Gunsmoke, FBI, Lancer, Love American Style, and Harry O.
And she's in an episode of Rockford Files playing Woman in Tub.
Woman in Tub.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to when it said Rockford Files, I said, "Oh, which episode?" And I was looking at it and go, "Woman in Tub." Well, I don't know, not a very big part.
Well, she's in the tub.
Yeah,
And she was also in a Partridge Family spinoff called Getting Together.
with Bobby Goldsboro.
And
Right.
so, yes.
Okay. Good.
So Spock and Kirk are telling them, "Hey, we need this stuff, or
We need it now."
or the whole planet will die." And so, our Donna Okay, so Ardana is a member of the Federation. So Ardana tricked the Federation because it
Yeah.
doesn't. If the Federation really knew the truth about this world, I don't know that they would have accepted them. I don't know how they hid this whole thing from them. I guess the vetting process or the standards weren't quite so high at this point in Star Trek. And
Well,
I think this might be one of the things that inspires TNG, but I'm not sure. I'm just guessing, making things up that maybe from this point they're like, hey, maybe we better look into their culture a little more closely before we accept just anybody into the Federation.
Yeah.
well,
Screw the Prime Directive, right, Scotty?
Well, no, but I think that it's interesting in terms, because it's a question that I have in terms of how Argana was admitted into the Federation, and when discovering this world, seeing a city float in the clouds probably would have been pretty impressive to a Federation starship or spaceship, depending on when they arrived. And I think that they would have maybe a little bit of expansionism, colonialism, not colonialism, but like in terms of expanding the Federation and wanting to share. I think altruistic things were involved in Starfleet and the Federation attempting to incorporate Argana. But Ardana, my mistake.
Yeah.
But I don't. I just think that it was early days of the Federation. I forgive them because they seem to be harmonious. Maybe this is the beginning of the revolution from the Troglodytes.
Right. That we are witness to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Like Clea says, the Troglodytes were trying to seek allies in the galaxy, and eventually that would definitely get to the Federation, and so changes would happen anyway. But Kirk and Spock helped that along quite a bit.
I do want to say peace out to DJ Play Nice. It's always a pleasure to see you.
DJ.
Oh, for sure. Great to see you today, DJ Play Nice. I'm glad you were here. Later on, y'all be safe, have fun, take care of your crew, and
rock.
Not.
Of course, if DJ spelled it R-O-C or R-O-K, excuse me, we would have Ted Cassidy's character from What Are Little Girls Made Of?
Yes.
Or yeah, R-U-K, excuse me, right?
Yep.
Yeah, R-U-K. Yeah, sorry. I got to get that spelling right.
The Ancient Ones.
Existence, survival, must counter programming or cancel out programming. That is the equation. I said that backwards, but oh well.
You rang.
Yeah. Okay, Jill, back to the episode.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back on Star Trek.
Hey, I will let you guys talk about androids all day long. So thank you for redirecting me back. Jim says temperature 65. So sweet being outside, getting things done. All right, Jim. I'm glad you're being productive today.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous day here as well in eastern Iowa. It's 68 degrees.
Oh, DJ Play Nice says, yeah, pass those around. 700 subs and 50 subs, respectfully.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. Sean Carter. Yeah, very good. Yes, definitely subscribe to Sean Carter. These are his channel links for anybody who can see the screen. He's got the Sci-Fi Model Guy channel and also Sean's Showcase Cinema.
Oh, I love that.
Which, yeah, he's working on his editing. He's doing really great.
Cool.
Franco Walker says Star Trek TOS custom 3D printed Enterprise bridge coffee table. Oh, what I was talking about. That's what I was. Please get that for me. No, I'm just kidding. Susan Dolan says Doomcock showed a picture of the Enterprise model Sean Carter made for me. It was amazing. It is amazing. Susan Dolan says they're also selling Star Trek shirts on Facebook. They kind of look like the flying shirt, but not as tacky. Oh, okay. Yeah. Lots of people are selling Star Trek stuff.
DJ Play Nice says bosom.
Oh my God. Been the grip since I've heard someone say that.
Yeah, no, I know. I enjoy old-timey vernacular. So words like bosom, I love it.
Yeah, that's great. And so Pleius is like the disruptors, the troglodytes. They don't really like art, and so they only care about violence. And
What would the troglodytes think of art? They have no
what
need
use
for
do they
art.
have?
And it's kind of like,
Oh my
well,
God, I just want to
I don't
slap
know
it.
about that. Let's talk
Well,
to
in-
Dr. McCoy.
I just had a horrible thought. Will you indulge me for just 1 second?
Oh, no.
What if the Stratos city dwellers are classic Trek fans and the troglodytes like new Trek?
Oh, that would be
No, that doesn't make sense.
It
be
does make sense
horrible.
because of the class divide.
There
All
would
of a
be
sudden,
There's no
the
class divide. You're
city
insinuating.
dwellers, they
No,
like
that doesn't.
TOS and
That's
Voyager, but the
absolutely awful and
troglodytes,
wrong because you're
they like
saying that.
Prodigy and
Yes, but what
and
you're
Lower Decks.
it absolutely does not work because you're saying that the fans of real Star Trek are subjugating new Trek fans because
they?
they're the only way your analogy works is that the poor troglodytes are suffocating the bad Star Trek in the form of
Yes.
that gas.
Yeah, if only you guys would
if-
let me come up to your Sky City, but I like Picard season 3, and so all of a sudden I get to live in a mine with mind altering
nobody is telling you that you can't like the things that you
Sure
like.
there are.
The
You're wrong.
analogy
You're wrong.
absolutely does not work. It falls apart. You're saying that fans that enjoy Star Trek are discriminatory and prejudiced,
fans of Star Trek, and I think
you're making it seem
Yeah,
like real Star Trek fans are evil.
I would never
cannot.
do that. I would never do
Don't-
that. Scotty, dig with your hands. No.
I don't.
Yeah, exactly. See,
No,
even
no,
when
no,
you're
no.
trying to be gracious, you're
No,
telling me.
I'm just
telling
being
me to keep
silly.
the filth.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
But
being silly.
no,
I do want to.
No, Scotty, you're saying that they're at the new Trek fans are watching it willingly. These miners are not watching it, are not mining willingly. They're being forced into it. Nobody's forcing new Trek fans to watch it. This is completely different.
That makes sense. I just think it's an interesting thought experiment. I do want to say hello to Crotch Taco, who is joining us from Rumble. I don't get to see Crotch Taco from Rumble. Refresh my memory. I've seen every episode of the original Star Trek. What was the Cloud Minders episode about? Stone Racket, I think we can agree it was about belly buttons.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's more than that. Jill has already explained it quite
the Cloud
eloquently.
Minders is a class disparity between those elites who are artistic and the laborers who manufacture the spoils, I suppose, of the Cloud City society.
It's basically,
and now that I explain the plot of it, I understand that my new Trek, old Trek analogy falls apart completely.
It's basically Star Trek's version of Metropolis, the classic silent film from
yes, it is very much
Fritz
like
Lang and his wife.
And Crotch Taco says, okay, put on the episode. Got my answer. Well, and that's part of the reason why we're here having this conversation. Even if you haven't seen the episode, by the way, spoilers, we would recommend you check out the original series. It's where it all began. It is the best Trek. It is amazing. And even when it's bad, it's still very good.
Oh, baby.
Yes, agreed. Well, speaking of which...
Oh, now she's covering her navel. Oh, dear.
She's covering it, but she's worried about Kirk and Spock.
And his very attractive officer.
She's actually really only worried about Spock.
Spock and those pointed ears. Yeah.
And so here's the part of the episode where somebody decides that being tortured by the city dwellers who are supposed to be nonviolent is a fate worse than death. And so he decides to jump.
Yeah, we get the darker, we're getting a hint at the darker side of the people of Stratos.
Yeah, it's super dark, but we don't see the torture scene yet. We see it
Not
later,
yet.
and so we see why this man jumps later.
Yeah.
And
And the thing is, it's like, what? He didn't have a transport card. He didn't have a work order card. It's like, well, how did he get up there?
Well, yeah, I know.
It's
He
like-
lost it. No, he lost one of them when he was in the scuffle.
Well, yeah. Supposedly.
That was a bullshit line. He was
Yeah.
just trying to cover for it.
But I'm like, how did he get up there if he didn't have at least a transport card?
I don't know. They
if-
got their ways.
Yeah. And now here's Jill's favorite part of the episode.
Yes.
The voiceover by Spock. Right? No.
Do you have the
No, this is not my favorite part.
Yeah, I know.
But
do you
I
have
have
the dialogue? Do you have the dialogue for this?
I have the dialogue. What
Can
do
I
you
read
want with
it?
it?
Can I read it?
Yeah, sure.
Thank
Why
you.
not?
I think
Just
it'll be
give me a
fun.
moment.
I've never done a Spock
me-
impression before.
Oh, right, that's right. I always read for Spock.
And
So-
because you hate it, I thought I would take the hit. Hey,
dear.
Lord Thoth is here.
I don't-
Hello,
I don't
Lord
hate
Thoth.
it. I don't hate it. It's just that Fred Freiberger doesn't believe that people can understand a story through the narrative, and so he has to throw all the exposition at you in this chunk. It's because you're too stupid to pay attention to the rest of what's happening.
I disagree with that assessment of this sort of soliloquy. I
Okay.
think
Well,
that
you may
this
read it.
is
Okay,
well,
maybe. Go ahead.
now, okay, I'll read it first and then well, no, I want to get this thought out first. I think that this is an excellent inner monologue for Spock. It's very rare outside of sort of beta canon novels that we get inside the mind of Spock. I like this, and I think it is engaging in terms of where he's coming from. I was asking myself while I was watching it as to why he didn't just have a conversation with like Kirk about it, and then he brings up Droxine, and it's like, well, no, Spock wouldn't talk about being like, oh, she's fine. And so I do
That's what he
get
does
where
here.
yeah, but he does it here. So if I may, and I apologize for no, I don't apologize. I think I'm going to do great. So Spock in his mind says, this troubled planet is a place of most violent contrasts. Those who receive the rewards are totally separated from those who shoulder the burdens. It is not a wise leadership. Here on Stratos, everything is incomparably beautiful and pleasant. The High Advisor's charming daughter, Droxine, particularly so. The name Droxine seems appropriate for her. I wonder, can she retain such purity and sweetness of mind and be aware of the life of the people on the surface of the planet? There, the harsh life in the mines is instilling the people with a bitter hatred. The young girl who led the attack against us when we beamed down was filled with the violence of desperation. If the lovely Droxine knew of the young miner's misery, I wonder how the knowledge would affect her.
Well, guess what, Spock? She thinks everything is super fine.
Yeah.
She thinks everything's peachy keen.
She does. But you like that extra dialogue? It's not really, I don't really think it's necessary. I think the rest of the story explains all of this. I think it's extraneous.
I like it. And again, this is something that I've pointed out before, but I think that this is an answer. Maybe it's Friedberger. Maybe it is. In terms of making it so, well, we've been getting a lot of fan mail about Spock. Why don't we, and mostly from ladies, why don't we just, give the ladies what they want? Like he doesn't do sexy as well as Gene. And so Friedberger demands to just lay it all out.
This is
I'll be right back.
Yeah,
All right.
Scotty, what you've been saying about appealing to the female fans that made the Spock character very popular. That's explicitly stated in the Mark Cushman book that
okay.
Freiberger wanted to attract more women, in the audience, and so this is definitely what you've been saying is exactly what Freiberger was trying to achieve, but it kind of backfired. If like you were saying, it didn't really quite work.
Well, and that's why I sort of jokingly call this the Kirk and Spock double date, is where Kirk pairs off with the passionate Vana,
Right.
and Spock pairs off with the curious. She is intellectually curious, and physically she's an artist, Droxine.
Yes. Right.
And so I do enjoy this. It's almost like a Romeo and Juliet, but there are two couples, and it's so strange. But
when I saw that comment of yours early on in the chat, I went, "Yep, I know what he's talking about."
Yeah, and I don't mean to overstep my bounds, but it's just something that it's curious. It makes
it is
like
it's very humorous as well as curious. Yeah, look at that gown. That's just, oh my goodness.
Oh, is this still William Ware Tice?
Yes.
Nice.
It's just so gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh, the costumes have always been.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the things that we do get to keep is Jeffries, and we get to keep Dice with the costumes. We get to keep Matt Jeffries for the designs.
Gavin Blackburn with an accurate observation.
Spock's inner monologue has forced Jill to temporarily leave the stream. Oh dear, the truth is out.
Yeah, we can disagree on that bit, but I do appreciate Scotty's appreciation at the same time.
I was curious because I thought, like, I was on the edge of my seat through this entire interaction between Droxine and Spock, and I was like, is Spock going to say that he doesn't always have to adhere to the 7-year cycle of sexuality? And he comes so close, no pun intended, but he doesn't.
In the
he says it's disturbing. He says
in the Cushman book, there's a direct quote from Gene L. Kuhn about this very thing. I don't know if, Jill, you were planning on reading that or not, but
I didn't plan on reading it.
Okay,
but it's
that's okay.
Gene L. Kuhn. It's Gene L. Kuhn, and if you wish to read it, you may. I
need to.
I do.
Can you give me a little bit? I'll grab the book.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Scotty will love this quote. So for sure, you got to read it.
Well, and not only that, but also, like, I'm a big fan of Dorothy Fontana, as any Star Trek fan would be. And Dorothy herself said, I think people took it a little too literally. I think Spock can have sex whenever he wants.
Yeah, but he's not going to talk about it with everybody.
Except for the people that he wants to have sex with, which is Droxine in this specific example.
I don't know. I like where we went to when we talked about this in depth, and that in between those cycles, someone he would care about, it would be more of a telepathic relationship.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you, is that Droxine is a logical work of art. He accepts that as fact. Why else would he say it back to her and her father? Spock is taken by Droxine. Deal with it. Why do I have to keep defending this chick that I don't like?
Because she is not what he thought she was. She's not part of this non-violent society. She's part of this chauvinistic prejudice society, and so I don't get chauvinism
from the society at all.
And we're better than you because we're not in the mines. So
that's not chauvinism. That's classism.
It is classism.
It's not chauvinism. Chauvinism isn't that like a male thing?
What? No, it doesn't. It has to do with everybody. Chauvinism is belief that you're superior over another group of people. So they're both interchangeable kind of words.
That's just general chauvinism.
I have the quote.
Yes.
Okay, this
Yeah,
is
it's when you think you're better and the other person is inferior. So it's the same thing, pretty
Huh.
much.
I'm
Okay.
often chauvinistic. Huh.
okay. This is from Gene L. Kuhn in a letter from June 16th, 1967, while working out a possible, although abandoned, subplot for By Any Other Name. And this is what Gene wrote. Mr. Spock does not come into heat only when Saturn is in Cancer. We have done a complete show about Mr. Spock's breeding habits, which originally were those similar to the salmon on Earth. That is, he had to essentially swim upstream and spawn. But due to the experience he went through in Amok Time, Mr. Spock's human side won out, and he can screw like anyone else. End of quote.
I love Gene.
I don't know, man. Was he just joking or what? What's going on with that
No.
quote? I have
Hey,
no
when do you want to
idea.
review Pretty Maids all in a row?
Not right now.
Yeah,
Maybe later.
maybe.
But
later.
I don't know if he's just joking because Spock only has that human outburst at the end of Amok Time because he's still kind of under the influence. He's still coming off of the Ponfar. So I don't think it's a display of the human side winning out. It was just a nice moment
think
for the fans.
I have to disagree with you on that.
Yeah.
The outburst is purely human, and not Ponfar related at all. When he's happy to see the captain.
Oh,
But,
really? Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
that's
know
how
that was
I've
the
always
proper
interpreted it.
English.
But the thing is,
You
your interpretation, is just as valid. I mean, so
I never. Well, you got Jane Kuhn on your side, so I'll have to rethink it.
Well, and
Yeah,
also Dorothy.
yeah,
Fontana.
I think even though that quote is, he's using some salty language, I think what he means is Spock, if he wants, but that would be kind of letting the human side dominate more, which I kind of find hard to fathom that. I think he would always let the Vulcan side win out.
That's
in
because
every
that's what he
aspect.
chose.
Yeah,
that's what he chose. He chose to be Vulcan when he was a
Well,
child.
And Subcommander Tall in the chat says, if he can have sex whenever he wants, he's less interesting in
Greed completely, 100%.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Ponfar has always been a question for me, but in terms of the characterization, his restraint and discipline has always made Spock a more interesting character. And so when he gives in to carnal desires, I don't like it. As experienced in Strange New Worlds, the Trek 2009 with Uhura, but but that's part of the reason.
Oh yeah,
why
putting
a
stalking tracking device on your girlfriend.
It's a character breaking thing.
Worse.
That was Star Trek Beyond, but we're not talking about that today. But I'm just saying that is a character breaking differentiation. I do appreciate how man and woman alike can be attracted to Spock, but Spock is not going to make the sweet, sweet love with you because he's better than that. He's not going to get drunk on a Saturday night, sing karaoke, and make out with you. That's not Spock.
That's definitely not Spock.
That's what modern writers, they remove his discipline, and I think that is definitely one of the complaints that people have about removing his.
If he wants to, like Gene L. Kuhn was saying, he can, but the thing is, like I said, that would be submitting to his human half, and that's just not consistent.
I always think Tuvok says it perfectly when he says,
"Do not mistake composure for ease."
And
exactly.
Yeah.
Big ups to Tuvok.
I mean, of course, if he meets someone that it's like Sarek, it was the logical thing to do to marry Amanda.
Yes. So it's so. I don't know. Much like a lot of aspects of Star Trek, Spock is an aspirational figure, and once you remove his discipline, doing his job, all of that jazz. Once he starts just being a dude bro,
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not into this guy.
Yeah.
He's not cool anymore. And so I do, as Jill, you have said many times, there's only one Spock, and he was played by Leonard Nimoy.
That's
Right.
right.
Oh, well, unless you're watching Star Trek 3, then there are several Spocks, but that's just because he's growing up.
Yeah, but he
And-
has no brain in that one. Brain and brain. What is brain?
I like this. In fact, I find this rather enjoyable. Oh dear, that Captain Kirk.
Yeah, right.
Wrestling with Vanna or
He
Vanna.
he turns a would-be killer into a fun moment for himself.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that Kirk.
And then she's like, it's just weird because she's trying to kill him, and then she's like, no, I wasn't trying to kill you. I just wanted to take you hostage.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
Where is he?
She's
There he
lying
is.
again, Jill. She's lying.
Hey,
Yeah,
Miss
I
Nagel.
guess I can't trust her, can I? Well, speaking of the chat, oh my goodness, Gavin Blackburn, thank you so much for the 149
Goons.
super sticker of a hot dog. Very nice.
Oh,
Hey,
nice.
hot dog.
I love the wieners. Wait,
Mhm.
I shouldn't. No.
Especially with what's on screen, Scotty. Show some respect.
Oh no, I have a foot
Commander
long.
Tall says, to me, the voiceover feels less like Fred Freiberger wanting to spell things out for the audience and more likely like that they wanted to finish the episode and realized they were like 30 seconds short, so made filler. Yeah, it does feel like filler. We totally don't need it.
Yeah,
It's like, oh,
that's
it's
totally
something.
valid there. That could very well be the case.
I
He
think
says
it's
it could be wrong.
character
It does make
accentuating
sense.
internal monologue.
Yeah. It doesn't really
Aw.
bother me that much.
No, me neither.
That's precious.
You know.
I am
Crotch
very.
tacos. Wow, look at your pay stub.
Do you have a pay stub for me? That implies pay. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, you read that one.
Yeah.
Would be considered Vulcan to engage.
What was that? What was that one about Nixon?
What's going on with Nixon?
Yeah.
Only Nixon could go to China?
No, what was that?
This was during the Nixon administration, a term after LBJ's poverty bill, says Crotch.
Oh, crotch taco. I'm not familiar. I'm Canadian. I love America, but I don't
That was
know.
probably
I don't know.
LBJ's it was called the Great Society, I think. His fighting poverty type thing.
Me too. I agree, Subcommander Tall. It makes more sense.
What did Subcommander Tall say?
Oh,
What did he read these chats?
I know what DC Fontana said, but I think it's more dramatically interesting if Spock only gets sexually aroused once every 7 years. But that ties in with what Gavin Blackburn said. Would it be considered Vulcan to engage in recreational for their partner's benefit? And Scotty and I have discussed that before, which is how we came up with the telepathic side of how Vulcans can engage in pleasure.
Well, and that was it. That was a conversation that was between you, myself, and Professor R.M. Briggs that sort of came to that conclusion.
We didn't come to we came to that conclusion from re-listening to that particular exchange, and because you have to remember that Spock's an alien. He's this. All of this has to.
Now what?
Fit with that perception, and not
my question is, why did Subcommander Tall credit DC Fontana when Theodore Sturgeon wrote Amok Time?
Oh, because Scotty was referring to DC Fontana's novel. What's the novel called?
Oh, Spock's World.
No, Vulcan's Glory.
Vulcan's Glory.
Oh, does she adhere to the 7-year thing?
No.
No,
she doesn't.
No. Oh,
no.
But
is
that
interesting as a character who's
it fights with it. It comes down to a battle between alpha and beta canon, and in terms of the fandom and whether or not you believe that everything on screen is the only thing that happened, Like, there's so many disparate, like, and even now we're living in a world where if you like a Star Trek show, that's not the right one to like to incorporate into. So, like, it all comes down to personal preference, unfortunately.
Eugene Bird says, it gives advice to the chat. When she is ready, you gotta be ready. The moment may not happen with the perfect romantic lead up. I wish I'd been told this. Youngsters, take heed.
It's good advice. Consent.
And,
It's important.
but once in a while, for the sake of a good script with some explanation, I can live with it. Yeah, and they don't really consummate this relationship anyway. They kind
They
of just
don't.
have some. They just kind of banter with each other.
They
Susan
tease.
Dolan,
They flirt.
yeah,
And
it's
of
a lot
course, if
flirting.
you'd seen that blooper like I have, and it puts a whole new twist on everything.
Is
Yeah.
that when Leonard finger bangs the actress's belly button? I don't want to
Yep,
see
I
that.
saw that at a
I-
science
oh
fiction
my God.
convention. It was
That's-
hilarious. He's doing his dialogue in perfect Spock, mode, and he just slowly puts his pinky finger.
Okay,
in her
stop
navel.
it. Stop it. We're gonna get demonetized. Hey,
Oh, sorry.
Dalek.
I'm sorry,
It's a
Jill.
belly button. I thought belly buttons were okay.
Belly
Dalek,
buttons are
hello,
okay.
hello
Do you
to
want?
Dalek
Do you?
451.
You're married, Jill. Do you want your
I
husband
am.
sticking his finger in your belly button? Is that hot and sexy?
It's just kind of funny.
It's kind of
playfulness.
weird. It's goofy.
It's goofy, yeah.
It's not sexy.
No, it's not. So,
Hey, Dalek.
hello to Dalek 451.
Have you ever had anybody finger bang your belly button?
Oh my God! Can you just stop saying finger bang?
I just wanted you to say it so you would tell me not to anymore. Anybody who wants to clip that can.
Been a while.
No, we
hasn't
got to
it?
keep going. We gotta keep going.
Children. Let's get.
Shut up. She's
keep
going to edit
moving.
it out. It'll be fine.
They also
I'm going to go have a
showed
cigarette.
Michelle's
That was too
sack.
good.
Roddenberry had her sing in 2 or 3 episodes because she was a professional jazz singer. Yes, agreed. Yeah, she sings beautifully. I wish she sang more, actually. She needed to sing like 20% more.
I agree. I just wish they had gone 6 seasons, and we would had episodes dedicated to Uhura, an episode dedicated to Sulu, Chekhov.
Yeah, Chekhov kind of got something with Spectre of the Gun, but not really
he did.
much.
Yeah, it's like
But I
have
agree.
things mixed up where they they have different the different supporting characters paired with Kirk and Spock at different times, as well.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, mix it up a little bit.
Mix it up,
the trio. But we get a great her episode once we get to the animated series. And so Vana is played by Charlene Polite.
And she's not so polite in this episode. She's rather aggressive, but
really, yeah, she is opposite.
Yeah,
she's the leader of the rebels.
Yeah, she's very strong leader.
She's a strong lady. She was 25 years old in her first year on TV.
Yep.
And then she'd go on to Hawaii Five-0 and Mod Squad. Wow, did everybody do Mod Squad or what?
Yeah, and I think Diana Ewing also did a 5-0.
Been going back and forth between this episode and what they were saying about it. Oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
That is a really cool way to watch this show. But she, as soon as he lets go, she grabs for the weapon again. They fight.
Yeah, I know. She's a liar, pants on fire.
Yeah, right. She's like, "Oh, I promise, I'll answer your questions." No, it's like.
And then he trusts her again in the cave, and it's like when they beam down, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Come on, Kirk, didn't you learn?
He's a little bit gullible.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to be sincere, he's trying to.
Right.
I mean, I like the way he appealed to her in her little prison cell with the dorky little door with the little bars that meet in the middle. It's like that
I
looks
think
so
I don't know.
flimsy.
I like it. I like the prison. It looks
Oh,
good.
okay. Then I take back what I said.
No, it's you can think it. Yeah, no,
It's
well,
okay.
they don't have force fields or for some. Or they don't have doors like regular doors. It's just you're right. It doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah, their
look like
doors open really fast and very quietly. Did you notice that?
actually no.
Yeah, when Spock comes out to talk to Droxine,
Hmm.
the door just whoosh, really fast but very quiet.
But yeah, just to hone in on what Scotty was talking about earlier, Spock doesn't talk about Ponfar. That's a private Vulcan matter. I don't really believe that he would talk about it.
Yeah,
But we've discussed this point.
but of
quite a
course the
bit.
power of the female naval kind of
I guess that was it. I guess that was it. I don't know how else to explain it.
she's
She
a
must
work
have
of
really
art,
been
and
full-
he will reveal things to a work of art. I don't know. It doesn't. Yeah, it's not consistent at all.
Well, but it does help to learn that it was Freddie's idea to help to
Yeah, to
make
try
women like it.
to appeal. It's like ad for the following issue. It was like a quarter-page ad in the actual programming pages of TV Guide back then, and it showed all these women. It showed a drawing of Spock in his usual stoic self, and all these little women just caressing him and surrounding him around his perimeter of his face.
Oh
And
wow, that's a
even
little
back
dirty.
then they were talking about how Spock was, attracting all this, female audience.
Well, it's true.
And
Yeah,
it's
they
true.
definitely
Yeah,
love
it's
Spock.
true. Because each woman thought, I know how to reach him. If I just had a chance.
Sure.
At least that was the gist of the article back then.
Well, there's always spores.
Yeah.
Eugene Bird. Thank you so much for the super sticker. That's absolutely adorable. It's a little lemon giving a little kisses. I'm not sure it's doing, or it's squeezing some juice out as it's dancing around. It's adorable.
Speaking of this side of paradise, did I already tell you that back when that episode was the rerun for that episode in '67 in the summer, we traveled up to there was this place that we go camping almost every year, northern part of Minnesota in the near Nevis. And at the halfway mark, we stayed at a Howard Johnson's hotel. And I was with my brothers in one room, and then my parents and my two sisters were in the other room. And me and my brothers were watching Star Trek, and it was This Side of Paradise. But my father called me into the other room, and I go in there, and my folks were watching the same exact episode. So it's like, that's the first time I was like, wait a minute, I thought my dad didn't like Star Trek.
That's what I was gonna say. I
Yeah,
thought
it's
your
like-
dad didn't like Star Trek. What
So
happened?
I think maybe Sandy, or my older sister, and my mom maybe had control of the TV in that room.
Oh, okay.
And my
that was-
dad was just along for the ride, maybe. That's the only thing I can figure out. But that was
Mhm.
one time during the actual run of the show where
Oh, it's the episode where Spock's laughing and hanging upside down in trees.
yeah, it's great, You don't want
Yeah,
to
but he has a
what?
good reason for
I don't
acting
want
that
to,
way.
sir, or I don't think so, sir.
Yeah, it's a whole crew of mutinies. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Gavin
And I love
Blackburn
the way Sulu reacts. We can't
Oh.
evacuate the colony. It'd be wrong.
Yeah.
Gavin Blackburn.
He says, would it be considered? Go ahead.
Would it be considered logical for a Vulcan to engage in recreational sex
Oh,
for their partner's
Oh,
benefit?
I read that one earlier. We talked about it already. I was just looking.
Yeah.
I was
You
just looking
you
at
and
the
Scotty
chat.
did discuss that at length.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
Okay, so
don't
there we
know.
are. Franco is reminding it. Yeah, if you're just joining us, if you enjoy this episode and what we're saying about it, please subscribe, share, hit the like, select live chat, please.
And
And
to quote Scotty again from the chat, this slide that you have on screen, there's your double date.
oh yeah, in fact, her visit was quite enlightening. So yeah, Kirk was happy with being almost murdered, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I
What's
mean
going on.
it gets them all riled up, and ready for action, if you know what I mean.
So Dalek 451 says, how many episodes are left, Jill? There 6, including this one. So
Yeah, so
pretty
5 more
similar,
after
5
this.
left.
Yeah, it's like I think we should start
Next,
over.
yeah, and then we got to start over for Stone Racket for all the episodes he missed. I'm just
Now
kidding.
for your shore leave,
Yeah, for sure. Leave.
you're planning on having one Friday, is that right?
Yeah, shore leave on Friday,
Do
unless
you
I
think
decide to do something else.
do you think you could go over your Star Trek 3 behind the
Oh
scenes stuff?
yeah. Maybe I'll set that up. And
Yeah, at least for the first part or a major portion of it, because I want to make sure you get that what you wanted to talk about.
yeah. Okay, I will look through my notes and see what stuff I missed. Kirk was more emotionally based. Yes, definitely. They have
Oh yeah.
friction between each other as a result, but they tend to come to common ground.
Yep.
Uh-oh. The stream is glitching? The stream is glitching? Is that true? Can you hear?
Well,
Can
just
anyone
for
else confirm?
just for a bit you did, but that was what you noticed when you couldn't hear Scotty and myself discussing something. It kind of petered out then, but your audio just for a little bit did at that time. But I think everything's been okay since.
Yeah, I think my Ethernet cable fell out, and I think that was the
Oh
problem.
no.
Oh, well, there's your problem.
Yeah, but it's fine now.
Yeah, that
Everything's
Ethernet
great.
cable, let's super glue that, okay? No.
But Vanna's saying what's obviously true. I'm speaking for my people. They have as much right to the clouds as the strato dwellers. But Droxine's like, oh, but it's for advisors and steadiers. What would troglodytes do here? And Vanna says, live in the sunlight and warmth as everyone should. And so it's at this point, even if I were to believe that Spock were in love with Droxine, this is where he should fall out of it. Instantly hearing her vapidly express her chauvinism.
Yeah.
But he does.
Okay. Does he?
He confronts her about it. Logically, not emphatically.
Well,
what would the troglodytes do here?
Emphatic. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Droxine. What would they do? They would learn.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly. That's what Kirk says. Kirk
Yeah.
says be taught to understand.
I mean, as far as, Vanna, why not have her up there? In Stratos. I'm all for that.
Well, it's part of the reason that she sort of achieved her reason, her rationality,
right?
Is because she was under the employ of the Stratos City dwellers,
and she was away from that xenite gas.
Yeah. Right. That is how Vanna has regained all of her mental faculties. This is true. And so, to your point, Scotty, yes, Spock says the surface of the planet is almost unendurable. To restrict a segment of the population to such hardship is unthinkable in an evolved culture. And Droxine just is like, they're violent. And we're not violent, even though, and then they cut straight to Vanna being tortured right after she says, like it's a comedy routine or something.
Yeah, it's very disturbing.
It is, but it's not funny, of course. But it's kind of it just the one scene contradicts the other.
Juxtaposition is a storytelling mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer, but
exactly.
Hey, at least she's not painted half black and half white.
Oh,
well, no, wait just a second.
Yeah, maybe. The sound of rays can be heard in the background. Troglite is an abbreviation of an ancient Earth term. It's the technical translation of a cave dweller. But I thought of the ancient animals they're all gone. Troglodytes, they're all extinct.
I'm a troglodyte. I live in a cave.
I used to, but now I live in the Stratos. No, but it's very interesting because I never even thought of that while I was watching the episode. But the parallel between Empire Strikes Back is interesting because we have Cloud City, and then we do have torture here, and then we do cut to Kirk hearing the torture off screen, and that is similar to when Han Solo is being tortured by Darth Vader, and it's just something that's going on in the background. Although there is more importance being drawn to it in The Empire Strikes Back, but it's a parallel. I feel like whoever wrote The Empire Strikes Back absolutely ripped off this episode.
Inspired by it.
That's a better way to put it.
That's a better, yeah. That's a kinder way. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, that's I'm glad you brought that up because I had forgotten about that. It's like not only the Cloud City, but poor Han Solo being tortured by the evil Darth Vader.
Soon to be redeemed in the Yub Nub movie.
And yeah, that's right. Poor Vana.
The Yub Nub movie. Yeah, Vana is tortured here by this Plesis guy.
It's just
and at least Kirk does push against it. He's like,
but he's told off, and it's like,
and then he does leave. He doesn't push the point. He's not like, well, your status as a Federation member is now in jeopardy.
Yeah.
He just leaves.
I'm going to tell the Federation on you.
He doesn't say that.
No, but it's like, you guys are not so haughty-tot after all.
But they will learn about it pretty soon.
Yeah.
So they'll have to deal with it. Violence in reality is quite different from theory.
Ardana is very much enjoying the benefits of being part of the Federation. But then as soon as the ambassadors of the Federation show up, they're like, we're not doing anything wrong. We're already part of the Federation. We'll get your thing. Just let us do the thing that we do to get your thing.
Yeah.
And
that's pretty much it. Yeah. It's
like this is diplomacy through, I don't know, policing?
Yeah, there is policing right here. Kirk says
Yeah.
the only way you're going to use that torture device again is if you use it on one of us.
Mm-hmm. Agony booth.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I definitely thought of the agony booth. This is the evil portion of how the Cloud Cities deal with the troglodytes.
Stratos. Cloud Cities on Bespin.
Yeah, you keep saying Organa. That's from the
Organians.
Yeah, the Errand of Mercy.
Mercy.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are actually nonviolent.
Very much so. They're pure thought, Jill.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's why they're nonviolent.
Yeah. But first they have to turn into these really bright things.
Mm-hmm.
These globs, and then where do they go?
And so he just flips on a dime from being diplomatic and everything, even though he's not.
Yeah,
good,
and then he goes, next time if
like,
kill him. And of course we go to a commercial break. So it's like, okay, what a dramatic way to go to a commercial.
It's an empty threat because it's a commercial break.
Yep.
This is a weird framing of the bridge, and it's basically, from what I understand, there to eliminate the helm, because you don't want to find out who's not there. No Sulu, no Chekhov. They really, and the only time they show the helm is archival footage.
Yeah, archival
with Billy Blackburn and George Takei.
Yeah, that's right. You are correct. Yeah, it's too bad that they didn't want to pay Walter Koenig and George Takei.
Well, they had Jeff Corey.
Yeah, that
so
is
that
true.
made up for everybody.
I guess.
No Eddie Paskey? I'm out.
Yeah.
Right. So
Well, you know, I love Eddie Paskey. I think
Yeah,
he's
we
great.
know.
well,
That's
well,
okay.
this is the reveal of the episode where we find our solution to help the troglodytes be better off so that they can use their minds to fight against the oppression that they've been enduring due to what the gas has done to them. The gas has made them mentally inferior to the point that the Stratus city dwellers can just take advantage of them. And so this needs to be turned around, and so this is what's going to happen.
Hey, the Trek reviewer. Welcome.
Hello to the Trek reviewer. Great
Howdy.
to see you.
Yeah, I want the troglodytes to have their own Stratus.
Right, they can build their own one. That would
Yeah.
be fun. But no, well, but like you said, cooperate and share in between the cities. That would be great.
Yes.
Because, like
I-
Spock says, they're all the same species. Once
Yeah.
no one is being affected by the gas, there's not going to be any discernible difference.
Well, in their art, there might be. I want to see troglodyte art.
Ooh, yeah, that definitely art would be different.
It'll be punk or metal.
Yeah.
Ooh, cyberpunk.
Ooh.
So that's true, Spock, but obviously the ancestors of those who live on Stratos removed themselves from the environment of the mines. Therefore, they avoided the effects of certain natural growths. So that's the gas that comes from the Xenite. So the very Xenite that's going to solve the botanical plague exposes gas to whoever's mining it. But it doesn't hurt anybody afterwards, because once it's refined, that problem is eliminated.
Well, we have to thank DeForest Research for the Xenite gas plot element, because originally Margaret Armand had radioactive moss in her
Oh
script.
yeah, really?
Yeah, it's radioactive moss, and they're like, no, that does not compute.
This actually, thank you to the research center for that one. Then this is much better.
Yeah, they said, well, how about a gas? From the mining. So that's where that came from.
Yeah, like whatever Margaret was doing, is she writing a comic book or what?
Yeah, really.
I find it interesting just in terms of the side effects of the Xenite and the gas and whatnot. And at the time, as Crotch Taco brings up, there is somewhat of actually, here's what he or they say in their own words. This show is aired during the peak of the Vietnam conflict and is very charged with political simile as a result. And I do agree with that in terms of the Xenite gas being sort of a side effect. I kind of equate Xenite based on its benefits to a biolog or a arboreal benefit to the other planet, is that this is sort of a fight that could be compared to Agent Orange in terms of the benefits versus the detractions. And if you're a subject of it, then it'll hurt you real bad. But if you're the user of it, it'll be of a benefit to you and your endeavors. And so I thought that was something that was alluded to. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I think that Crotch Taco...
that was definitely an awful tragedy that is potentially, I don't know we'd have to ask the research team who came up with this idea if that's what they were thinking or not.
In terms of the writing of the episode. Or do you think that Agent Orange was specifically manufactured to negatively affect the Vietnamese people? Let's get deep, ladies and gentlemen, in this late 60s science fiction allegory.
I'm gonna put a bookmark in that one and say that I'm not sure because it's obviously very harmful and it extremely so, and it was awful and a very awful thing that ruined a lot of people's lives. And I'm sorry it happened. And I actually didn't think of Agent Orange. I thought of Brave New World, where they put alcohol in the blood surrogate of the babies that they want to make dumber. So that because they have a caste system too, and so it depends whichever caste you're in determines on how much alcohol they infuse your fetus with.
That xenite gas that not only makes you dumber, it makes you angry.
Kind of like fluoride in the water, am I right?
Oh yeah, and in Brave New World they made the kids they wanted to be dumber angry at books. They would show them books and then they would shock them or hurt them in some way. It's terrible.
Books.
And
I love books.
And so you must have been shocked.
They're heavy, they're coarse, they get everywhere.
I love books.
I love books too. But that's part of it. It really has some shades of one of my favorite novels this episode. But yeah, the Vietnam aspects, that's some awful stuff. And so places he continues on. He's pretty much the villain.
I'm from Canada. We enjoy burning books. Sorry.
Oh my God! Don't do that.
No, it's a true story. They burned Tintin and Asterix.
Hey, oh yeah, when I heard about that, I put Tintin on my wish list for my son. I was like, man, what's in this book? I need to read it.
Nothing but white guys.
Have you seen Truffaut's Jules and Jim?
I have not.
There's a scene that Truffaut put in there where it shows it's newsreel footage that the three main characters witness of the Nazis burning books. And Truffaut put that in there because he was already thinking of adapting Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451.
Oh.
And so, yeah, when I heard about that, I turned to my classmate and I said, see, everything's science fiction. Wow. I guess you had to be there, but
no, it's not that I'm not responding because I don't think it's profound. It's because it's crushing. Like for the last 4 years, I've just been looking around being like, oh, so this is the dystopic future that the 80s warned me of. Welcome.
Yeah, it's
we are living it for sure.
It's happening. It's disturbing.
Anyway, back to Star Trek.
It is.
It's what unites us, though. We have to stick together and fight this dystopic.
Well, that's what we watch science fiction for, to figure out how to deal with the future. And the future is, well, it's a cliche, but the future is now.
Yeah.
Scotty,
Scotty, anyway,
come down to live in the States, go to Texas, get out of Canada, please.
No, I want to go to Florida. I heard Florida's good.
Want to go to Florida?
Yeah,
okay.
No, but I really like Texas.
There you go.
Because in times of peril, we've got farmers and stuff, and they're gonna still have their animals and things, so we'll be all right.
And technically, I would be an immigrant, so I would be good at being a farmer. I could clean things.
Well, I'm glad we're having this conversation because this episode is just the part where the Stratus dwellers are being obstinate and the troglodytes are being obstinate, and it takes a little while for something actually to happen. But this is the little prison scene that Stone Racket was talking about earlier.
Scotty, what do you think of Vanna's miniskirt?
Oh, I'm a big fan. Actually, you know what? I was curious because there's something about, and before I get into this, I want to say hello to Pleasant Valley Picker CA, saying, hi, Jill. taking an early lunch break. Can you send me a link? I'd like to offer my thoughts on this episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello, PvP. Sure, I'll send one in a little bit. Let me see where I am, and I'll send it when I'm ready. Thank you for being here. Well, not.
I'm a
send-
big fan of Vanna's miniskirt, pigtails. Also, I don't understand the necessity for pointy bras in the 60s, but when Vanna is on her back, she does have an ample bosom. And as I mentioned before, I enjoy a curvy lady. And so, yeah, no, she's doing all the Veronica things for me. I apologize. But I don't, because I'm a male, but I ain't toxic.
Well, I'm proud to be toxic, but
All right.
I'm being facetious whenever I say that, because what exactly is toxic masculinity, according to the so-called enlightened ones of today? It's simply being masculine.
Well, and again,
You know,
the people who
Mhm.
claim to be enlightened seem to be the Stratos city dwellers, and they wish to suppress
Yep.
the instincts of I don't know, the passionate.
Yeah. Now, being a toxic male is someone who abuses women.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
That's the true
Yeah,
toxic. And,
that's what it should mean.
yeah.
That's definitely what it should mean.
And it's
but
like in my
it's
book,
gotten muddled now.
they aren't men at all who abuse women.
Exactly.
They aren't
Agreed.
men at all.
Bullies.
What do you think of Vanna's eye makeup? It kind of is the same as Droxine's.
Well, Vanna did sort of spend time in
Yep.
Stratos.
In Stratos, so it
one
had
of the as
yeah,
a handmaiden, if you will.
the similar eye makeup, and I go, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, the episode doesn't quite use the words, but it does seem like the troglodytes are kind of in a slavery kind of situation.
They're servants and manual labor, even in Stratos, and it's like, and they are also the guards, the security. It's like, interesting.
Big shout out to Brogu.
Brogu.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Anti-Derivative Jill. Hope you're having a great day. Well, thank you, Brogu. We are.
We hope that Brogu is having an awesome day too.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
me too.
He didn't give a care about how my day was.
Well,
Yeah, hello,
he said to
Brogu.
everybody.
He did say to
Yeah.
everybody. I'm sorry for
Yeah.
being adversarial.
You are everybody.
I am affected by the Zenite.
Dig with your hands.
Oh no.
Can you dig it? Hey, is that Fred Williamson?
Yeah, he's from the opening as well.
Nice.
Yep.
So Kirk they try to he tries to get Vanna's trust, but Vanna never really trusted him, and so she captures Kirk.
Oh dear.
And makes him dig with his hands.
And then they take his mask off, and it's like, oh no, he's going to get angry too.
And he does a great job in terms of the performance. I think that he does.
Yeah,
sort
he's
of that heightened adversarial nature as we get further in. But I would like to. Wait. Oh, sorry.
Scotty, before you continue,
yes.
I've got to send a link to PvP, and I would like Stone Racket to read this captain's log by Spock.
Okay.
That's in the chat, so that I have a moment to go take care of this copying and pasting. Thank you. And then whatever you had to say, Scotty, if you remember it, you can say after.
I doubt I will.
Captain's log, supplemental, stardate 5819.3. First Officer Spock reporting. Captain Kirk beamed down to Stratos to attempt to win the confidence of the rebel troglodytes. Unless he has made his escape from Stratos to the mines, his life is in danger from the High Advisor. The captain has not informed us of his progress. For our part, we must maintain silence. We can be of no help to him without jeopardizing his life.
And there you go. Perfect timing for that.
Excellent.
Reading. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm just glad that these face masks didn't come into popular style during our need for masks or
Right, during the
imposition of
pandemic.
masks, because it just didn't. I wish I had seen this episode in 2020 so I could have adopted them.
Yeah.
You would
But
have too.
I would have totally done it.
But I like
Especially with the little vials
Yeah.
at the bottom.
Yeah, the vials of the bath salts or whatever.
yeah, it's very colorful. You know, it's like, look at that. Awesome.
That's the most important part.
It is.
That's what makes it work.
Yeah, I wish I had manufactured something like that for the time of wearing masks.
3D printed them.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, hello and welcome to Pleasant Valley Picker. He's a guest of this live stream. He's
Hi,
coming in
PVG.
during his lunch.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Yeah,
Howdy.
just pop in for maybe half an hour. I can't stay too long because I got to get back to work at 1 p.m. my time here. But I just wanted to pop in, Benny, because to me this is probably the last of the really great Star Trek episodes of the original series. I am a pretty big fan of this one. I think this has got a lot of good
Oh.
elements to it.
Yeah, for me, it's the female navals.
Well, we already saw that.
For
with
me, it's
Uhura
the
earlier,
aerial
but-
shot of the surface of the planet.
You and my earth science teacher, Jill, both
Yeah,
enjoy the
it's
same
pretty
thing.
nice.
Yep.
I kind of like the shot when Kirk and Spock first arrive and they're looking up at Stratos, because that's a pretty cool shot too. And I actually kind of prefer the original effects to the CGI city floating in the clouds. But
Sure,
like
at the end of the stream, I'll show that. But
Yeah, okay.
I guess you won't be here.
yeah, I'll have to head out before then.
Let me see if I can grab that for you. It's all the way at the end of my notes.
Oh,
So PvP, what do you think of Kirk's mask here?
oh wow, trend setting, eh?
Yeah, I mean, look at the color.
Oh
It's
yes,
like
I know it's pretty 60s sci-fi, I guess.
I wish I had the capabilities of back when we all had to still wear masks to manufacture something that looked like this.
Yeah, you would have needed one of those 3D printer things, and maybe
Yeah.
you could have made them that way. But yeah, I wonder if that would have been actually considered a legit option though back then. But it would have been kind of fun though if they'd actually allowed us to enter the stores wearing those. But
Yeah, I got on the bus to go to work, and they're like, "Yeah, you need a mask." I go, "What?" "Yeah, you need to wear masks." "Since when?" "Since yesterday."
yeah,
Like,
it
I'm like,
kinda,
oh, so it started on the weekend. So it's
yeah, it happened real quick here too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I was working and get this, I just got my job back in 2020 then, early on. And about a month after I got my job, we had to shut the office down basically, and I was sitting at home for 2.5 months after that. So yeah, not fun time.
They're
Oh, well,
making
that's
they're
the real
making
world.
Kirk they're making Kirk dig with his hands. PvP
That's
horror,
right.
the horror,
The pain. Oh,
the pain, the pain.
That's some pretty soft rock to just be able to dig in there easily with your hands.
Well, it's a good thing. I mean, if it wasn't soft, they'd be, their hands would be in pretty rough shape, right? So,
Yeah.
Well, for sure. But
Oh no, he's
Yeah.
got his uniform has dust on it.
man, well, he has to dig as the
Yeah.
troglodytes do. And Anka, that's the actor, that guy,
Yeah, Fred Williamson,
Fred Williamson. There you go. Yes, he's
Paul Anka. No, the singer, Paul Anka.
I got
Deposit this on the transport platform. Yeah, those platforms make me think of Alfred Bester's classic novel, "The Star's My Destination."
Hmm.
Hopefully, you've all read that. Absolute silence. Okay, no one's read it.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't think
I was
have.
muted. I'm sorry. I wanted to talk about Fred Williamson. He
Go right
just
ahead.
completed the 8 years in the NFL. So as a defense back for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep.
Mm,
And this
wow.
was his first
There it is.
acting job.
This is very first acting job. Well, yeah, okay. One thing I didn't get to read everything in the Cushman book about this episode, but one part I did read was that he didn't like the fact that he was given a stunt double. And so from this point on, he did his stunts, his own stunts.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, because he knew. Well, obviously he's a football player, so of course he can do it. So and then he did.
Oh yeah,
So, shoot.
if you could
It's too
survive
bad. Yeah,
football, yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad that Shatner didn't insist on doing stunts where he goes, well, Robert Conrad's doing his own stunts. How come I can't?
Yeah, right. I don't know.
Have you watched Wild Wild West, Jill, with Robert Conrad and Ross?
No,
Martin?
I have not. I'm sorry.
The fight scenes are just awesome, and
They're amazing.
Robert Conrad did all of his own stunts. It's amazing.
Well, there's that. What was it in season 4? I think.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
He gets in a bad accident.
Yeah. He was actually out of commission for a few weeks because of it.
Yeah.
So yeah. He was amazing though. Like he was really good at doing his own stunts.
Yeah,
too, so,
incredible.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that show to Jill a couple of times. Probably it's definitely something Jill should put on her list because there's definitely a lot of sci-fi elements to the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, it's got that steampunk kind of thing going.
Yeah. Well, it's often credited with the origination of steampunk, I believe, Stone Rocket. So, yeah.
Very cool. Well, Williamson.
Back to Star Trek.
Yeah. Williamson. He also did some blaxploitation films throughout the 70s, like Hammer, Black Caesar, That Man Bolt, Hell Up in Harlem, and Black Eye.
Yeah, there was a lot of those in the 70s. Those blaxploitation flicks.
And so another disturber is Mid-Row, and he's just like, let's kill him.
Yeah,
Mid-Row's kind of not the brightest bulb on the Christmas tree, is he?
It's the Xenite gas, PvP. It's making him dumb and violent.
At least the other guy doesn't want to kill him automatically, right?
And of course,
she's like, well, dead hostages.
Yeah, Vanna still has her smarts.
Yeah. She's spent enough time out of the caves.
Yeah, she doesn't spend too much time down there.
And she's holding the phaser. Oh, good golly.
But she's also hard-headed that she won't see that the gas is doing anything to anybody. So
yeah,
nobody on either side really believes Kirk that the filters will do anything.
Which is interesting.
And so Kirk causes the cave-in. Yeah.
Well, for a society that has a city floating in the clouds, it seems like they're pretty advanced. You kind of think they might have known about invisible gases that can harm you, because, I mean, we do have stuff like carbon monoxide right here. So,
well, Kirk kind of makes fun of her when she's like, "Oh, you sealed us in. We're gonna lose oxygen here. We're gonna die." And then Kirk's like, "Die from something you can't see." You stand.
Yeah, it's like the mind boggles.
Yeah, good old Kirk logic.
Yeah, right. And so, yeah, he's using his logic too. Well, this is how he's going to force Nirvana to talk with the high advisor.
I see 9 Erics.
You should. That's what he's there for.
Yeah.
He's also, if you're a channel member, you can also put Erics in the chat.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He protects my live streams from copyright claims without advanced communication. So they're gonna get the Placis to be transported into this cave, but first they got to bring him up to the ship and then put him back down into the cave. But they can't do it because Droxine is hanging out with her daddy, and so
yeah, and of course Spock. We know how Spock feels about. Oh, wait a minute! I better not talk about that.
You can if you want to. Well, and Droxine is thinking about him.
Oh, the word Xenite's covering her navel. Oh.
Well, I'm sure you're so disappointed in my slides for that
Yeah.
reason.
No,
All
no,
of
no.
these. Yeah, but her dad thinks she's talking about Kirk, but obviously she's talking about Spock. I
Spock.
wasn't thinking of Captain Kirk.
Yeah. Now see, look at that expression. She's getting all goofy thinking about Spock.
She is. It's the one with those exquisitely shaped ears. And so even though, well, even though I kind of don't like Droxine that much, this reminds me of someone I do really like a whole lot, which is, oh, hold on just a moment. I will have to be right back if you guys can talk for me for just a minute.
Okay.
Sure.
I got to help my daughter, and I'll be back as soon as I can.
I have a sneaking suspicion that Jill might be talking about Mother Horta, also liking Spock's ears.
I don't know.
Yeah, she may.
I
I think she may maybe was alluding to that. I'll. You want to place a wager on that, PvP?
Not really. I don't know. I think she might be talking about a real person, but
I don't know.
anyway, is she back? Oh, no,
No, not yet.
maybe not. I just want to say I'm kind of surprised that Jill doesn't like Droxine. I thought Droxine was a fairly sympathetic
Well,
character.
it's just, I
She
guess
was
maybe
just
she's just
spoiled,
naive or
Well,
gullible or
exactly.
just
Well,
unaware of what's
PvP.
She
happening.
was raised, in the
Yeah.
clouds, and she doesn't know any better. I think.
Well,
I just don't think
PvP.
she has enough character growth.
Well, yeah.
PvP.
She had
Scotty.
some.
Scotty doesn't like her either. So it's just
No.
you and me for Droxine, and I guess that
Well, I think
Well,
she's a lot nicer than her
yeah, I
father.
do like
That's for
Vaughn
sure.
Emmerich.
well, that's for sure. Yeah, she's
Yeah, she is nicer than her dad.
yeah,
I
her
agree.
dad's a beast.
Yeah, he's a nasty fellow. By the
Yeah.
way, Jeff Corey, who was playing the High Advisor, I remember reading years ago somewhere that I believe early on when Leonard Nimoy was actually, still learning.
Yep, he was his teacher.
Yeah.
Because Jeff Corey taught acting classes.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that because I don't know if anybody's covered it already, but
yeah, and
I
then
thought that was cool.
and then it also mentioned in the Cushman book that when Jeff Corey was had a gig, an acting gig, that Leonard Nimoy would take over his class.
Oh, right on. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine it must have been kind of a lot of fun for the two of them to get back together for a few days doing this episode. That must have been kind of enjoyable.
Yeah, and Jeff Corey is in an episode of well, he's in the very first episode that was aired for the Night Gallery series.
Oh, okay. The one with Joan Crawford?
No. That's the pilot film. The first actual weekly,
episode.
or not weekly, but it was part of a 4-on-1 rotating program. But he was in that, and he made the I can't think of her name. Jill, help me out. She plays the woman lead in Requiem for Methuselah.
Oh, I'm not sure.
I can't think of her name, but she's in the same episode of Night Gallery, and Jeff Corey kept screwing up his line and making her laugh.
Oh no!
It was pretty dramatic because she's unbalanced in that segment of the story. She's got serious psychological issues, and Jeff Corey kept getting his name mixed up with Carl Betts's character's name, and he just could not get it right. Take after take.
Louise Sorrell?
Yeah, Louise Sorrell. Yeah, Louise Sorrell. She was also in the same episode with Carl Betts and Jeff Corey. And it's called The Dead Man. And
wow. Okay, so I do want to redirect back to the episode.
Back to the episode.
Or Crotch Taco. I don't know why I was going to say Crunchy Taco. It's
Crunchy.
They are referencing Pitcher, Oklahoma. The lead and zinc mining byproduct piles. The lead. The lead and zinc mining byproduct piles of chat began to loom over the town, and even even after the mining stopped in the 1960s. Ooh, that's awful. And
Yeah.
then he says, more like every example like it. I don't know how to watch the show without getting deep. Roddenberry was a genius. You have to go deep to appreciate him. Yeah, I do appreciate that. Yeah, and Agent Orange definitely, and that's
Well,
what Scotty was mentioning earlier. His experience going to
I
Vietnam.
hate to tell you, Taco, but Roddenberry had nothing to do with this episode.
Well, he had to do with creating Star Trek, but you're right.
Right.
Everybody who made Star Trek, except for Matt Jeffries, so the set designer and the costume designer are the only people left.
That's
and
right.
and David Gerald came on. He did Trouble with Tribbles, but he was all alone in writing this episode as far as people who were around at the height of Star Trek's creation.
And it's a
Yeah.
shame. It's a darn
Well-
shame that Robert Justman wasn't made executive producer.
Oh, agreed completely.
And hopefully, if my theory, which I've talked about before, real brief, is that if Justman was the executive producer, then Dorothy Fontana may have stayed on as story editor and script and writer.
Oh, yeah. Did I say hi to James Caserta? I'm not sure.
I think we did earlier. I think we did.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
Okay, back to the episode.
Yeah,
Meanwhile-
we do have an episode.
Meanwhile,
Well, in this part of the episode, she's saying, "No, I wasn't talking about Kirk. I was talking about Spock." And when she said that, and she talked about his ears, I was reminded of this. So I didn't get many clips for this episode because I didn't have time. But I did get this one from Deep Space Nine. You might know which one I am referring to. Or Scotty might know.
Oh, I do.
He's so much more handsome in person. Those eyes.
Kirk had quite the reputation as a ladies' man.
Not him. Spock.
I just wanted to mention David Gerald is credited with the story, but didn't Oliver Crawford and Margaret Arman had a role in that too, didn't they? I think Arman did the teleplay.
Crawford and Gerald are credited with the
to
story.
The beginning of this live stream.
Yeah,
And
'cause
Margaret
Crawford-
Arman actually wrote the teleplay. Yeah.
Right, and Oliver Crawford did write another episode of Trek, I think, back then, but I can't remember which one it would have
Let
been.
that be your last battlefield.
Okay, well, that's a good episode too.
Well, that
That's-
explains
yeah.
that explains this episode. There's some things. They're both to deal with prejudice. So
And division. Yeah,
Wow, look at the
divisions,
light
yeah.
coming. Oh, that previous slide. Look at the light coming off of Droxine.
I think you're a fan, Stone
Yeah.
Racket.
I am a
You
big
are.
fan of Droxine. Yes.
now I see what light you were talking about.
Yeah.
Well, she is a beauty for sure. Yeah.
It's lovely.
Yeah, but PvP, are you team Droxine or are you team Von?
Yes, he is. He's team
Oh, I
Droxine.
think they're both interesting characters,
Yeah.
and I think both actresses do very good portrayal of their characters. So I like them both,
Yes.
really. You know.
Yes, but which one would you like to go into a drive-in movie with?
Oh, Droxine.
Oh, okay. Well then,
I'm
you
I'm
can-
okay. I'm just being superficial here, but yeah, Droxine.
Okay,
Yeah.
you and
I would
Stone
take-
Racket can fight over Droxine.
I would take Droxine to a drive-in movie. Yes.
Well, and speaking of Droxine, this is my favorite line that she says. "Father, are we so sure of our methods
Yeah.
Yeah, she's starting to have doubts after hanging out with Spock for a while.
that we never question what we do?"
And then her
That's-
father
that's
gets
the-
all huffy and sends her away.
That's what this episode does. It hints at possibilities, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really attack them. So it's very
But
it's very light on it.
But I think that that's one of the benefits of Star Trek, and especially when people can sort of compare it to modern interpretations of Star Trek, and they say, "Oh, people say that new Star Trek is preachy and, for lack of a better term, woke." Is that it is sort of a wagging its finger at you, telling you what to think. Whereas with classic Trek, I'm more intrigued by the questions that it poses as opposed to telling me what is correct. You can
Yeah,
extrapolate
this is
it
definitely
for
very
yourself.
subtle. It is
Yeah.
definitely very subtle.
I
in
agree
whereas
totally.
New Trek.
And
Well, yeah.
do-
And
it lets the audience think for
yeah.
itself and make up
Yeah.
its own mind. You know.
Yeah. And thinking of questions. What of Lazarus? What of
What of
Lazarus?
Lazarus?
Sorry.
But I mean,
No,
it
I
is subtle in the sense that I can see the viewpoint on both sides, right? Like they both have their views, and they both think, you know, that the other side should maybe be a little more open to their views. But you know, it's just like, you know, they're entrenched basically into this societal system they've
Yeah.
built.
Yeah, but for the past 20 minutes, it's just been both sides just not believing Kirk about the gas, and so we have to wait for both of them to see
Yeah, yeah, I did
what's
find
going
that
on.
a little bit of a flaw in the script, maybe.
And
Yeah.
so Kirk is just like, okay, well, you're
Hey,
gonna have to experience it for yourself. And so he
McCoy,
does. That's
find us in
exactly what
McCoy.
happens.
I know, right? He is sparse during this episode. I
Very
wanted more
sparse.
McCoy.
Yes, yes. It was mainly a Kirk and Spock episode.
So
I
Kirk
guess most of
does
it.
use his phaser to force
Yeah,
the
he's getting aggressive.
both of them to
He's
do.
Yeah.
losing it.
But at least he has the excuse of the gas, and it's not just him deciding to put his phaser for diplomacy. This is the effect of a gaseous influence.
Let them fight.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're gonna fight. And
Dun, 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 dun,
this is
dun. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention in terms of Jeff Corey, and this is something that I just saw in watching the HD. Did I already mention the shave in his beard to make him look just a
you have not.
little bit more alien? And I thought that that was an interesting thing. I never noticed that before on the standard definition when I saw this episode as a kid. And there is a little something to make places look more alien. And so I did appreciate it. Very simple.
I didn't notice it, and I probably wouldn't have if you didn't bring it up.
Enterprise, help.
Right. Because Kirk and Places are about to kill each other because they're fighting, and Kirk disarms him, and they wrestle.
They fight.
They fight.
Fight.
The itchy and the Places and Kirk show.
Nice. That was well done.
Oh, by the way, did anybody mention the music in this episode? Because there was an original score for this, wasn't there? I think.
I thought of a song while watching this episode.
Was there?
Well,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't know about the music.
I thought of a song.
when we first see the Cloud City, it's got that sort of beautiful melodic music when Kirk and Spock are looking up in the sky.
Yeah, that's used in previous episodes.
Was it? I don't remember previous episodes.
Well, I remember it from the Apollo episode.
Oh,
it's Fred Steiner music.
Yeah, Fred Steiner.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it was recycled then. Oh, okay.
I thought of a song with when Doroxine is making moves on Spock.
Yeah, I thought of a song.
Everybody to the tune of Jolene, just say Droxine 4 times, and then I'm begging of you, don't take our Spock. Anyone familiar with that song, Jolene?
Well, I love Dolly Parton.
I haven't heard it in a long time.
I'm not.
Well, it's originally a Parton song, but it's covered beautifully by Olivia Newton-John. That's where I first heard it.
I think you could also take the Police classic Roxanne and
right. That's
Droxine
another one. That's another one I thought. Droxine. You don't have to put on the red light. Oh, there's red sky. Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah, that's another one I thought of. We think alike, PvP.
That popped in my mind, yeah.
Stone Racket. My dad
yeah
had a crush on Olivia Newton-John since he was but a boy. And he went to Las Vegas with my mom. And they went and they saw Olivia Newton-John in concert before she passed. And my mom is the one, my dad doesn't talk about it at all, but my mom was like, and your father said that they made eye contact and he was so happy. Now, I don't know what that means in terms of how happy he was. Maybe my mom got some sweet, sweet loving that night. But no, Olivia Newton-John, my dad's crush, which I just wanted to bring up.
Yeah, the first concert I ever went to was an Olivia Newton-John concert.
Nice.
And my ticket cost $8.
Holy moly.
And Olivia, real quick, Olivia was so cool. She turned around occasionally and sang to the people in the nosebleed seats just for them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, back to Star Trek.
Yes, back to Star Trek. But before we go back to Star Trek, I have to say hello to Ben from Cinema Gulp, who is in our chat now. Hello. Hola, friends.
He likes to gulp cinema. Okay.
He does.
Yeah. He'll gulp your cinema.
Hola, friends, he says. Hola, right back to you.
Good to see you, sir. As always.
Wes Cake says it's like the music that they used in Journey to the Center of the Earth to inspire a sense of awe and wonder. Interesting interpretation.
Yeah, well, we all know who did the music for Journey to the Center of the Earth.
James Caserta
is Bernard Herrmann.
James Caserta also says, talk about superficiality. We're all about navels.
Yeah. James Caserta, don't bring it up. I'm not allowed to say finger bang anymore.
What the heck?
Superficiality. Okay. That's not the only reason I like this episode. That's not the only two reasons I like it. I'm sorry.
Well, okay, so finally, geez, it's been a while. So after that fight, the dwellers of the city and the diggers of the ore both agree. Oh yeah, this gas is here. I guess we will take your filters after all. So that's a thing. And so the Xenite is now free to be traded. Now this has, even though there's a lot of work to be done from this point, the troglodytes have decided that this is good enough for them to share their Xenite.
They've been severely tested. I'll say.
But Vanna does address this issue that I would have had if she hadn't said this. She says, our demands have just begun.
Yeah.
As it was.
Well, and again, this is sort of reflective of the time in which the episode was made in terms of revolutionaries sort of standing up against this, the establishment. And we'll see this again next week when it comes to, Dr. Severin. What's that episode called?
We're next week we're going to cover The Way to Eden.
That's it. And so this is sort of the incorporation of the 1960s hippie culture and those who are oppressed.
Much better done though than Eden.
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen Eden in so long. I am so looking forward to it.
Oh, it's a hoot, that's for sure.
It'll be, I haven't seen it in a while either. There's a lot of season 3 episodes I watched once when I was 19, and I'm watching them again now.
Yeah.
That could be scary.
I haven't watched so many of these since it's been over 40 years.
Well, and I was taken by this episode just because of Kirk is even sort of self-correcting through the episode, saying, "Oh, I got to do the diplomacy," and then other people are being like, hey, "He's not as good as a diplomat as he thinks he is." It's very endearing in terms of characterization, but I do like this is character development. This is expanding of the people that we love, and so I enjoy this as a late stage trekking, if you will.
And this slide right here, Vanna, even she's moving towards diplomacy.
Yeah.
Right. Perhaps it's best if we just forget both
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
incidents.
The voice of
Forget
reason.
about the kidnapping. Forget
Yeah, and
about
even Mr. Grumpy nods in agreement.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Well, just as quickly as he turned on a dime to be evil for
Yeah.
a quarter of the episode, is just as quickly he's just like he acquiesces at the end. She's just like, all right.
Yeah.
Well, couldn't that be an establishment of conflict within Parsis's or Place's his character? Like he's not a bad
Yeah,
man.
but
He just
you've
wants to
got
maintain.
you got to interpret that very severely because he's been the one primarily responsible for suppressing the miners for all of this time, and he's got to learn to think a different way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we hope things will change for the better. At least it gives us a bit of hope at the end.
Yeah.
Well, and
even though it's a little bit rushed, but they only have so
Yeah,
many minutes.
exactly. That's my problem.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
everything is kind of rushed.
But at least they
it is
tried.
a less than hour episode.
Yeah, at least they tried, and I still take issue with David Gerald's summation of this. It's like, no, you're forgetting that there's going to be there's change that's evident in the three main characters. So, it's not just oh, we have these masks now. Okay, now we'll keep digging your ore and be all nice and happy.
That's what it feels like, though. That's my problem with the episode. It kind of feels like I know that there's little pieces of dialogue that says we're going to have more diplomatic relations. The Federation is going to come and help you get through that, and then
the FBI will come and help.
Yeah, but of course, Places is not quite so soft to that. But
did you get that?
Yes, he said
the Federation. What did he call it? It's the acronym is FBI.
Oh.
Yes.
Anyway, I gotta head out soon, guys. Actually, probably should head out now.
Okay. Wait a minute. Give your review of the episode.
Yeah.
What do you rate it, and anything you want to say about it, and anything else you want to say?
I just wanted to pick up on the what was mentioned a minute ago about the development of Kirk and Spock, and that's one of the strengths I always thought of TOS was, even if though it was an episodic '60s TV series, there was a lot of development of the characters all the way through the series, and I thought that was a kind of a unique thing as to how much detail in developing the characters as the series progressed that the writers actually went to, and they kept a lot of the plot elements of the characterization running through the series, and so I thought that's one of TOS's stronger points. As far as the episode, I really like this one. I think to me it's the last truly great Star Trek episode for me. I give it an A plus. I really like this one. I mean, sure, it's got a few flaws, but I just think overall it's a really solid episode, and I really like the Spock, scenes where he's in contemplation of the society that they've beamed down into, and examining his thoughts as to how he's going to deal with the situation. And of course, Kirk is not quite so thoughtful, but he does manage to get the job done, as he usually does in his own Kirk-like ways. And I like the supporting cast. I thought the script overall was pretty solid, and I thought it had a good message. And it wasn't overly hitting us over the head with it. There was enough subtlety and nuance in the episode where I thought it did a good job of exploring, sort of social class and cultural, divisions, and because Stratus being the literally, in the clouds, and where a fine art is the main occupation. I think it's stated early in the episode. And as somebody with a fine arts degree, that really hits home for me because I can understand how a culture based on fine art could become quite elitist, because when I was, at art college for 4 years, I did meet some real snobs. There were some people that were kind of, up in the air, so to speak, with their headspace. So yeah, I kind of adds a little bit of another layer for me personally in the episode. But I guess that's pretty much it. I don't want to ramble on because I really should go anyway. So anyway, it was awesome to have a little bit of time to join in today, guys.
Yes,
Well, it's
thank
good to
you.
see you.
Much PvP.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it was
great.
good.
Great that you
fun.
could make it PvP.
Yeah, well, I scheduled my lunch break an hour earlier than I normally would have on Tuesday, just
Well,
so I could.
it's always interesting to hear what you have to say, and especially
Thank you.
since you don't get to hear the rest of the live stream, so it's cool to hear your encapsulated review of it.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
also, I
Well,
didn't
let's see.
hear you eating. Like, are you going to
I
be
know.
hungry for the rest of the
I
day?
want to run and have a few crackers right now because I got about five
Crackers?
minutes.
That's racist.
It's gonna be geez, it's gonna be a light lunch anyway.
It's okay. It's his word.
I'm gonna bail.
True.
Okay, PvP.
They're the premium plus crackers. So yeah, okay.
Delightful.
Anyway, we'll see you guys another time, I'm sure.
Okay.
So have fun.
Yeah, you too,
Yeah,
PvP.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, PvP.
I'm so upset that he called me a cracker.
Soda crackers.
Well, since PvP kicked us off with the reviewing this episode, let's get straight into that.
Yes.
So, Scotty R37, what rating do you give?
This is so difficult because this episode is like it's drenched in ideas. Like there is so much here, and the only reason this episode exists is to open up a conversation in universe, like between the Stratosians and the Troglonetians on the planet of Ardana. Like it's so it is this episode, as David, I want to say Gerald.
Yes.
But I do appreciate Gerald because I do say GIF. So, like he had such ideas in terms of this being representative of civil rights and a parallel to discuss the disparate nature of those civil rights protests or communities where one was peaceful and one was more aggressive. I would have loved to have seen that. However, hour-long science fiction in the 1960s. I appreciate that it is just the haves and the have-nots. I know that the ladies in the audience are all upset because Spock gets horny. I don't have such difficulty. It doesn't bother me like this. I'm going to give it a B+. I'm going to give it a B+. I should probably give it an A. I went into this saying I was going to give it a C, but after talking to you guys, I think it's a B+. I think that there is enough social commentary. I think that there is enough characterization and set design. What is presented in this episode is, I think, great. And I think it's just another example of how Star Trek Season 3 is maligned for being less than stellar. I think that they shoot for the moon. They may come short, but I think that this is thoughtful science fiction. And so, I'm going to give it A.
I think what helps is that they're still using that science consultant team, and there's still a few elements that are still there.
Yeah, but I'm much more of a character person than I am the mechanics of science fiction.
I know, but if they had gone with the radioactive vines, I don't know
that
what would have happened to my score.
Yeah, radioactive moss. Yeah.
Oh, moss, excuse me. Oh, speaking of Stone Racket, what grade do you give this episode? What do you think about it?
I gave this episode a B. Despite having a lot of feminine beauty on display, doesn't rate an A as far as story, but I agree with Scotty that it does try, and there's a lot of good ideas in this episode, despite what Gerald says. That I really, ever since reading his little capsule review, in the world of Star Trek concerning this episode. It's always rubbed me the wrong way because he just oversimplifies things. But I won't quote him directly because it's racist what he says. But yeah, I like the design of this episode. It's just
I don't think he's racist.
uh
Do you think he's you do
could
think
could
he's
you
racist?
could you please not interrupt me? I'm doing
Yeah,
my
fair
review
enough.
and I didn't interrupt
Sorry.
you. So
Fair
but
enough.
anyway, I love the design of this episode. I thought that it was really stellar. They put the budget to good use. I just really like the design of Stratos. But yeah, I just gave it a B.
What did he say? What did he say that was racist?
What?
You'll have to look at the Cushman book.
He did?
Or World of Star Trek.
I don't remember that part.
Well,
Although I did miss some of your review because for some reason my internet was cutting out at that moment. I don't know what's going on today with me. I should have amazing internet. But yeah, what David Gerald said, I didn't get a chance to read everything, so I might have missed that one.
Yeah,
I just don't.
In World of Star Trek, it's basically he just says that, you know, they get the masks and now the troglodytes will be nice and happy and you know, and he uses a racial term and says that the troglodytes will, he doesn't call them that, but he says they'll keep picking the cotton happily ever after.
Oh yes, yes.
Oh no! Oh, that's kind of mean. Well,
yeah,
no, but some people do. Some people do interpret this episode like that because there's
if they don't
listen,
and pay attention to what's being said, and also Vana saying our demands have just begun, pretty much, and Droxine saying that she will go down to the surface of the planet as well as going to the mines.
She says it. You have to believe her.
So yeah, I do. I mean, her dad, that's a different story. I don't know about him.
No.
But I like the fact that at least they had dialogue referring to change, you know, and diplomacy of a type. And like Scotty said, it's full of ideas and it asks the right questions. So I'm going to give it a B overall. A B for effort.
There was a quote, and I know that this occurs later on in production history, but there was a quote that I was reminded of in this episode, and it's like people say that we're at the end of history, but we're not out of history yet. And I really thought that was applicable here, and it informs later stories of Star Trek. And I don't know, there's something, I guess that's why I bumped it up. To an A. I don't mean to be racist or classist.
Oh, did you?
No, you weren't.
Like,
you weren't.
I think that this is I enjoy the exploration
when did you
of
bump
ideas.
it to an A?
When did I bump it to an A? Just now.
Oh, just now. Okay. See, I thought you had it at a B.
He said that
plus. You had it at B plus.
I started at C. I got to B plus, and now I'm at A.
And then Stone Racket talked. And
then I was just like, you know what? I'm going to give it an A to spite Stone Racket.
I can.
Oh, don't say that.
I can kind of see where David Gerald is coming from. The way he put it is kind of ugly, but I did hear the dialogue of change at the end, but it's kind of really fast, and we don't really get to see what's happening with any of that. And I'm kind of torn on this episode because I really want to love it because it does try to tackle something difficult and serious and realistic in an interesting way, but it just doesn't expand upon the issue enough for me. And it's obvious that the Stratus dwellers are prejudiced, but there's a lot of the episode dragging around the idea of the filter and everything, and it's just a little bit And then on top of that, the botanical plague. Oh, we just got it introduces a ticking clock, and I'm not sure. I realize that in season 3 is inspiring the kind of diplomatic drama that we're going to get to see later on in Star Trek. And I still hold to this theory that season 3 inspires a lot of later Trek. And I wonder if maybe the awfulness of this planet is why the Federation seems to have more of a standard on who becomes a member later on.
Yeah.
And so I like it for that. And so it's earned a B range for me. It's a B minus because, well, they kind of, I don't know, they don't get enough into the classism for me. And that's very quickly one of the, once the filters are distributed, sure, this is going to allow the troglodytes. No, I mean just the expression of the troubles that the troglodytes are going under are not beginning to be solved. They're just mentioning it, but we're not quite sure if this planet is actually going to follow through with any of it. And this is going to allow the troglodytes to think clearly, but is it going to create cooperation between the two, or are they still going to be segregated? And so that's my issue. The separation is still there. And
I
so
think,
but the B it still earns a B for me because Kirk mentions that the Federation will come and help with this a little bit later. So while the episode doesn't do much about it, much of it is promised later, at least at the end here. But I think that's kind of where the episode skips really getting into the hard tack of it. And so they're just like, we'll deal with this a little later.
Yeah.
Not now.
I think the way they present Vana, I think there will be change. Just the way her character was presented, and the fact that she says our demands have just begun, have only So I like that. And then Droxine saying that she will go down to the surface and investigate things herself and go into the mine. So the two female characters kind of do it for me.
Yeah, they do have one line
with as far as the hope in the future. But again, it does fall short. I agree with exploring things.
Yeah,
but
it had a lot of potential.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough subject. It's very tough, and for a 1 hour show in '69, it's like
and possibly
they only do so much.
And possibly the network didn't want them to get into the nitty of it.
That's true.
Yeah, I can't imagine a world where the network would be like, "Hey guys, can you talk about civil rights?"
Yeah, it's like, especially after
I think that's what Gerald wanted to do.
Especially after the horrible assassinations of '68. It's like,
but also I can't go up to an A because of what they do to Spock. I don't like him written out of character.
Toxic feminism.
Oh no,
I don't
no.
like for him to be written out of character. I can see what they were trying to do in making him fall for the intellectual pursuits of the city and Droxine.
Are you doing your review? I can't interrupt if you're doing your review.
Yes, I'm doing my review. I can see what they were trying to do in making him first fall for the intellectual pursuits of the city and Droxine being a symbol for that. And that's why we're supposed to believe he's in love. However, the dialogue neglects this idea because he's constantly referring to her beauty versus her mind. So this is bad writing on Freddie Freiberger's part. While
why can't intellect be beautiful?
Dialogue was well written.
Well, if
other bits were not most glaringly the Ponfar, which we mentioned earlier. It was a good idea, but the script needed a little more work from our original creators.
I agree. I think he should have said something about admiring her mind and her matches her physical beauty or something like that.
It was just that Freiberger needed to watch more than 6 episodes of Star Trek.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's so true. He just watched 6.
I absolutely think that you are being a mean girl in terms of keep your hands off my spot.
I'm
You know
begging
what?
you.
I think that when Spock is
protective of
paying
Spock.
attention to Droxine, like I don't care for Droxine. I'm not defending Droxine. I do understand Spock's attraction to Droxine. I understand it intellectually in terms of technology. Everything about our Donna is it would appeal to Spock. And that's one of the cornerstones of this episode that makes it difficult, because Spock is like, you know what? These guys are pretty fucking cool. And then he finds out actually they're
Not so
not.
cool. Yeah,
And
well, the thing
so,
is,
but
I
think
should.
I think that you don't. I think that you, as a lady attracted to Spock, I think that you get all caught up in the Betty and Veronica of the situation, and you're like, I don't like Spock when he likes other girls.
No,
I do.
I
I
don't
do.
remember saying that, but
I
you can
I
put
think you
words in my
did
mouth
very
if you
several
want to.
times.
No.
Also, Mark D with a C.
Also, yes, hello, Mark D with the C. No, I just want Spock to
I
be
think you're being a
I don't-
toxic
I'm not.
feminine.
I'm not being jealous. I mean,
You're
right?
being you're a jealous,
No, she's
I don't think
toxic
so.
feminine.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is.
I totally get what Jill is you know,
Maybe I'm being rude. Maybe I should relax.
Yeah, you got to relax, because I
I'll
agree.
relax.
I agree that the dialogue should have been more Spockian, if for the lack of a better word.
Spockian.
Instead
Well,
of
less
saying,
flirty. Just less flirty.
it's the High Advisor's charming daughter, Droxine, particularly so. It's like, the intelligent, thoughtful High Commissioner's daughter, but I don't know, just something that
Exactly.
that
Yeah,
didn't
focus
stress
on
physical
her
beauty. It
mind.
also talked about her mind,
It
and
also would have helped if she
that's the fact.
expressed more of that intelligence herself. Also,
Yeah, the fact that she's interested in Vulcan and logic, and from their standpoint, just a little bit more there. That's all.
Mark D with the C says, I give the dress in this episode an A++. Speaking of which, we got to see what the chat thinks of this episode. And
Yeah.
I just had one more thing in my review. The thing is, I should love this episode because it reminds me of one of my favorite sci-fi dystopias, Brave New World. And so all it needed to do, I don't know, maybe one of the what I really love about that book is that one of the people who betas, almost the top next to alphas, Bernard rebels, and he learns about what it's like to be one of the lower class, and so he decides to rebel against the whole system and everything. And so I was kind of looking for something like that, and I guess we get it a bit with Vana.
For me, it's Metropolis.
And yeah, Metropolis, definitely.
Because
And
before Brave New World, there was Metropolis.
I just think something's missing. I'm not sure.
I agree with Mark D with a C, though. The dress is A++. But I'm a toxic male, and I make no apologies.
Speaking of grading, the poll, most people give this episode a B. So a B to a B- to a B+. 57%.
Is it closed?
No, it's not closed.
Okay, I got to get there.
It is still open as of this moment.
Oh, you got to vote, Scotty.
Yeah, engagement with the channel and vote.
This is so crazy. StreamYard says 28 people are watching, and YouTube says 9 people are watching. That's quite a disparity.
Yeah. Well, okay, you have to on StreamYard. I'm streaming to several different platforms.
This is true.
Facebook. I'm streaming to Twitch and Twitter and Rumble. So I don't know what the numbers are over there in those places.
Anyway, I made my vote.
Hurry!
I still lost. So look at me being a Biden fan.
What? Okay, so 56% give it a B, 33% give it an A, and 6% each give it from ranging C all the way down to F.
So, oh dear.
Yeah. So this one is actually a very well regarded season 3 episode.
Yeah,
Hooray.
Nice.
Hooray for this episode.
I'm reserving my F grade for next week's episode.
I can't wait to watch it. My God.
Mhm.
I am so,
Next
but
week's episode.
we'll get to it next week in
No,
our
right. Because
our new
next week,
episode of Naval Gazing.
Internet Movie Database puts next week's episode at the second lowest. Of course, the lowest of all is "And the Children Shall Lead."
well,
So we
yeah,
got
that makes
and
sense.
the
Okay,
Children Shall Lead.
but you won't be here with the Stone Racket next week, right? You're not going to watch this one.
Yeah, I won't be doing my homework. I'll vote. I'll vote in the poll,
you'll vote in
and
the
I might
poll,
say a
and
few
you'll-
snarky things, and then I'll leave in a huff. No.
Okay, that'll be funny.
You sound like a varul.
But yeah. In any case, thank you everyone who voted, and if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Or if you're on a different platform and you like this program, if you do ever go on YouTube and check out my channel, please subscribe. It'd be
Don't
really
forget to share, like, subscribe. There are opportunities if you'd like to what is it? Memberships, and there's things that you can do
membership streams. Mm-hmm.
Didn't you recently get like a drawing tablet?
I did just get a drawing tablet. I haven't played with it yet because I was it came in the mail right when I was prepping for this show. But maybe I'll play with it tonight.
But this is something that assists, like, not only the StreamYard and the introductions. If you'd like to help Jill with her channel, as I have, for 99 cents Canadian, which means I gave her a nickel.
That's the exchange rate. Okay.
Yeah, it is the exchange rate. But I'm just saying, like, you can do all that. You can do the things.
Yeah.
Help her out.
Did I say hi to Lord Thoth? I wasn't.
I said hello to Lord Thoth.
Yeah, somebody did.
Yeah.
Somebody
you
did.
didn't.
Okay.
You don't like Lord
okay.
Thoth.
So
You told
I
me.
do like Lord Thoth. He's a security chief. Wes Cagle said, "I never cared for the way to Eden. Could be my disdain for dirty hippies."
That's right.
It reminds me of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I appreciate that.
And okay, so I closed the poll. 36 votes.
Delicious.
Oh, okay. I don't care. Okay, StreamYard is telling me there's a trouble with the stream.
I saw
Facebook,
that too,
but I don't care. It's just like
neither
go
do
away.
Wes Cagle.
I'm sorry for people on Facebook though.
Wes Cagle says, "I think Turnabout Intruder is the worst episode of TOS. That one is so bad it's good in a way."
Yeah, that's some hammy acting, but we'll get there.
We'll get there.
I don't know if I hate it. I'm not sure.
Bobby Sherman. Okay, Susan Dolan corrected me. It wasn't Goldsboro or whoever I said. Bobby Sherman. That's right.
I like Turnabout Intruder better than I like The Deadly Years.
Interesting idea.
Huh. Yeah, The Deadly Years, both those episodes are not tops with me, so that's that's interesting.
Yeah, no,
I only like The Deadly
best
Years.
Of the worst.
It's a stupid place to put a mirror.
Well, and next week is going to be Infinite Lunch in Infinite Combinations, number 100.
Indefinite Lunch in Infinite Combinations.
Whatever,
Number 100 is going to be The Way to Eden.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, maybe I need to change the name. Nobody gets it right.
In complicated coordination.
But
I like the name. I think it's clever.
I do
thank
too.
you.
Yeah.
I like it too. Well, okay, so Wes Cagle likes dark-haired girls, brunettes, and redheads more than blondes. Okay.
Yeah, me too. Wes Cagle.
Yeah, I do. I prefer brunettes, but blondes. Hey, I'm not going to kick them out of bed for eating crackers. So.
Oh my stars!
They're going to get.
How did you get them into bed? That's my problem.
Franco Walker, B+ sexy women. Yeah, I don't give pluses and minuses except to Jill's stream, which is A++, and but episodes, it's like people that have the star rating, they have 2.5 stars. It's like, no, I have a 5-star rating scale, and I rate on full stars, not
Oh,
half stars. So
interesting.
it's just a
Well,
weird thing with me. So I don't give
that
pluses or
is.
minuses, but you know, that's
I never
just me.
noticed that.
That's
That
just
is
me.
just you.
Yeah, it
But
is.
I give Delve in the Dark A with all the pluses, all of
You know,
them.
that's one of my
Every
top
Infinite and
favorites.
Infinity pluses.
Yeah, The
That
Devil in
is my
Dark. I
favorite.
love that. Even though
Lord
my
Thought.
nieces and nephews
Mhm.
guessed where it was going, they knew it was her eggs. And I kind of went, oh, I
They
always go,
did. Wow.
shh, shh, when they guess things right. Go, wait, let the episode go. Let it
Oh, they
continue.
realized it. Well, that's really
Yeah,
cool though that they
as
could
soon as
figure it out.
Spock picked it up from what's his name?
Cybok?
I want to say Van Gelder, but it's not Van Gelder. It's
Oh,
Vander something. Chief
yeah, that sounds
James
Vanderberg.
right.
Vanderbeek. I don't want to
Vanderberg.
wait
Yeah, Chief
for our
Vanderberg's death.
lives to be over.
Lead minor guy. That's all Anyway, Lord Thought says B.
B. Yeah,
James
same with me. B.
James Caserta, the creeping blorch.
Oh,
What
James
a clever
Caserta.
idea.
James Caserta. That's awesome. That brings back memories. He has in World of Star Trek, he has this great section on the Star Trek cliches, and
And
it's just fantastic. It's
oh, I gotta
yeah,
check that out then.
yeah. It's there's yeah. Anyway, that's what it brings back
What's
to
that
me.
called?
Well,
Is that a particular book?
Yeah, it's
Well, yeah.
David Gerald's The World of Star Trek. He wrote in
Oh,
'73,
cool.
and he also wrote a whole book on how he wrote The Trouble with Tribbles, and it's called The Trouble with Tribbles.
That is so interesting to go
Trouble
back
with the
and see
trouble.
the original writers
Mhm.
and hear their sort of complaints
Yeah,
about the writing of Star Trek and whether or not they were network restrictions or whether they were showrunner hindrances. Like, it's interesting to hear how many rocky roads Star Trek has been through, and it's never been smooth sailing. And that's
no.
why I admire Star Trek, is because for all of its Angel One and no Lieutenant Yaw, no vaccine, we get like better episodes. We get more thoughtful. Star Trek will prevail.
It will eventually.
Yep.
We'll get there. Lord Thought says, after watching a lot of Voyager lately, this episode goes up a grade or two in appreciation, and that's
And
that's
of course,
important.
Jim rated A
Jim,
all the way.
A all the way. Yes, indeed. Wes Cagle gives it a B. It's a good episode, but I only give it about 10 episodes. I only give about 10 episodes an A. A is reserved for the best of the best episodes. If too many episodes get an A, it diminishes the value of the grade. Interesting. Very good philosophy there, Wes Cagle.
Yeah.
This episode says a thing
I
about coal
do that.
miners
I do
on good old Earth and other mining with unseen gas or dust.
Yeah.
And Lord Thought says, I rate 5 episodes in the entirety of Star Trek an A. Wow.
Oh,
You're
dear.
too strict and you don't
you
have any
do.
fun in your
You
life.
do reserve. Oh,
You should stop wearing
he reserves.
briefs and you should switch to boxers.
He oh my God, Scotty, that's a little far.
No, it's
he reserves
not.
his
It's
A.
just clothing.
Okay. Susan.
Yeah, that's
Well,
a little
Lord
too
Doc
strict
has
for me too.
a very unique grading system, and I always am interested to hear what he has to say. Susan Dolan says, lick the like button to get your rabbit chicken sandwich
Tacos.
ice cream.
Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, rubber chicken
Drink.
sandwich. Okay, I thought it was tacos.
Is that a Bloody Mary?
Or coffee to enjoy the show with.
Yeah,
Thank you, Susan Dolan.
I don't even like tomato juice.
Hail, Lord Thoth, I'm glad you're not my professor. Tough grader.
Yeah, he's a tough grader.
Sure. He is a tough grader. I give this the dress an A+.
Yeah, you've already read that. Yeah.
Right.
I'm a
I
fourth
did.
grader.
Well,
I dropped
West
out.
Critical says, I thought the same thing. That's why I don't think this episode invokes racism. I don't think that it speaks to the struggle of the working class for better conditions.
Yeah, I think it's a
Yeah,
classist.
that
I
makes
think
sense.
it's
Yeah.
a classist allegory.
Yeah, I agree. So what's wrong with David Gerald? I don't know.
Hmm.
My
I don't
puppies
know.
are upset with Scotty's vote. Oh dear.
Uh-oh.
Well, bring it on. I'll fight
Bring
them.
it on.
I'll take 100 duck-sized horses.
Well, that's a lot of giant ducks.
No, little horses.
Oh, little horses. I was thinking of giant ducks.
Why were you
I was
thinking of
the
giant
opposite
ducks?
because I don't know. My brain transposed what he said into the opposite of what he said.
Because
Oh.
Jill wants to see me murdered by a giant duck.
Not a giant rabbit.
Jim sent me a picture in Twitter. Let's see what happened to Twitter.
He never sends me.
Jill
pictures.
sent you a pic in X. Who's he referring to?
Me? What?
Oh, sorry.
Jim
I read that
Landscape
wrong.
says Jill
Yeah, sent you a pic in X.
in
Yeah.
X.
I'm sorry. I'm getting.
Oh, because it's March and he's
I-
getting ready for a very special holiday which occurs in March.
Yeah.
My sister's birthday.
Yeah,
Easter.
yeah, everybody celebrates your
Sister's
sister's birthday.
Easter.
Well, always look on the bright side of life.
No, St. Patrick's
Oh,
Day. Hey,
St.
look
Patrick's
at him.
Day.
Diddly diddly dee potatoes.
Well,
Lucky Charms. They're magically delicious.
there we go.
Everyone's trying to steal me Lucky Charms.
As long
Yeah.
as nobody tries to watch Up the Long Ladder on St. Patrick's Day, then we'll be okay.
I thought we were going to do an O'Brien retrospective on St. Patrick's
Oh,
Day.
yeah, that's a way better idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of O'Brien, Jill, that animation to the Doors.
Mhm.
Where'd you get that?
The internet.
Oh, okay. So it's a combination of learning about the internet comic. Oh, what is it called? It's called O'Brien at Work.
Oh, okay.
And somebody on YouTube. So I did take it from someone else's work on YouTube. Put the Doors over O'Brien at Work and had him dancing. So, yeah. So just in case,
very silly but very funny.
it is very silly, but if it's your first time hearing about this video, I can play it for a second so you can see. And if I play too much, copyright claim.
The Doors performed that on Ed Sullivan. Of course, they were told, don't sing Baby We Couldn't Get Much Higher. But they sang it anyway. And they were going, you're never coming back on this show. And they're like, that's okay. We did it. we were on the show, and that's good enough for us. Just the one time.
Good. I'm glad that they were able to do it.
Yeah, they just went ahead, and then the thing is, the Stones should have done the same thing, but they did not. They chickened out.
Well, they were busy being complicit in murder.
Oh, you mean Brian Jones?
No, I meant the Altamont.
Oh, the free concert.
That's the one with the Hells Angels.
Oh,
what
okay.
kind of an idiot's going to get a biker gang to be security?
Yeah. Yeah.
Idiots, I tell yous. Or Stratos City dwellers. Meanwhile, in Star Trek.
Oh, yeah,
Anyway,
that'll be the
can we
problem.
go? Can I go?
You know what? That's exactly that. You just sensed exactly where we were going with this live stream. We've covered this episode. Thank you
Come
so much,
on.
everybody, for
I
reviewing.
want to be where the people are, up there somewhere.
Well, okay, I couldn't be more grateful for you reviewing Star Trek with me here on the panel and in the chat. So please tell me what you're doing around on the internet, and we will check you out.
Well, dude, this is ridiculous for everyone in the chat and for yourself. Is that I hang out with you mostly because you're my best friend on the internet, and I enjoy hanging out with you and talking with you and your lovely guests. Everyone is so amazing. You set an incredible table, and every time I'm here, you make me feel welcome. And I thank you. I thank Stone Racket. I thank the chat. This is my favorite time. And also, I have a friends and family channel, the Phantasmagorium Show. I hang out with my friend Kat, and we talk about Fargo currently, although I'm pretty sure we're going to be talking about Star Wars on May 3rd. And then I have a Twitter, if you will. I would very much like it if you guys followed me. It doesn't make any sense what I do on Twitter, but I do enjoy the engagement. I have been culling so many sex bots. It's ridiculous. I would be up to 200 subscribers or followers by now if I weren't so discerning, because I do try and get rid of all the sex bots. And then I hang out with Ben from Cinema Gulp when he puts up with my shenanigans. And then I also have an exclusive YouTube channel. It's under my name. It's Scotty R37. Right now we have one video. It was 10 years in the making, and it is a cat watching Commando. And if we're really lucky and the funding comes through, we may release a new video soon. So that's what I'm doing on the internet. Yeah. Thank you for having me,
Also
Jill.
exciting. You're welcome. And also exciting is seeing Cam show up here right at the end of our live stream. Cam. And Lord Thought says, thank you, everyone. Fun show today. Don't forget to leave a comment as you leave. Franco Walker reminds everybody.
Yep.
And so,
good for the algorithm.
Do you have anything you want to share before we go?
I love cats.
If you don't believe him, follow him on Twitter, where you will see how much he loves cats.
Yeah, that's basically what I do on Twitter. I just follow cat people pretty much. But yeah, I like to hang out with you, Jill, and I love talking about Star Trek and science fiction in general. And that's where you'll find me, on Jill's channel, and as well as Pop Culture Curator's channel.
Yes, Pop Culture Curator. I hope you feel better, and
yeah, definitely
good meetings this week. Thank you, everyone. This was a good show, and next week will be a historic show. Oh no, I don't know. Well, I will have to make time for clips for next week's show. And
calm down, Herbert.
I'm already, yeah. Well, I don't know why I'm so excited for such a terrible episode, but
I am so jazzed.
I know, right? I guess it's maybe because we haven't seen it in so long, and then we're going to watch it, and all the spirit is going to fade. We'll see what happens.
I remember that show all too well. That's why I avoid it. I'd rather watch The Questing Beast than The Way to Eden.
Well, and it'll also be the 100th episode, so it'll be a double amazingness of it.
Yeah, it's so ironic. It's your 100th, and it's going to be that episode. I don't know.
Well, look on the plus side. There's going to be a guitar solo.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Take care, everyone. Much love to you all. And so with that, I will show you this trailer for Way to Eden.
Oh no.
You will, yes, you have to watch the trailer.
I'll have to close my eyes.
Oh, come on. It'll be amazing.
It'll be fantastic.
Come on,
Yeah,
do it,
and
Rockapella.
I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Cheers.
Stratos, Captain. A city actually floating in the sky.
Wrong one, Donkey Kong.
Oopsie daisy. This is the correct trailer
my-
for The Way to Eating.
What a
What is it?
The flower, sir. I touched it. It's like fire.
Aurora, cut power. You are overtaxing your ship.
Explosion is imminent.
You've caused an interstellar incident which may have destroyed everything that's been negotiated.
You've got a hard lip, Herbert.
What is your destination?
The planet Eden.
And why did you stay away? Because you disapproved of me.
How do you know what I want?
You're young. Come, join us.
You make it tempting.
Dr. Severin is insane.
Captain, it seems as though someone else is running the ship.
That's right. Someone else is running this ship. I am.
Captain, they're using...
Oh, and one more thing that I wanted to mention that I forgot. If you're wondering what to do right now with your time, Bird of Prey 5 is having a membership stream right now. So if you want to go say hi to him and you have membership, you can. Go on his stream live on the panel. We'll talk to you guys later.
Okay, bye.
Okay,
Live long
bye-bye.
and all.
Fine, I'll kill you later.
Hey!
That's a new one.
Yeah, those are some Star Trek 3 clips that I
thank you.
that I just left there. I was gonna pick them up later and put them somewhere else.
See you around the galaxy.
Yes, guys, thank you so much.
You are
And
most welcome.
Thanks to everybody who listened and contributed in some way.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
But Scotty, get your fingers off of the things.
Out of the belly
And the
button.
ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.